goodbye. If you're at odds with a loved one, listen closely. Pick up the phone. Call them. Say you're sorry. I promise a huge burden will be lifted from your heart and your soul will be renewed. Even if you're not wrong in your own mind, it doesn't matter. Death is bad enough. Death without closure and love will follow you the rest of your days. Trust me on this. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Liberation Day in D.C. Giangelosi, Fox News. President Donald Trump says he's placing the Washington, D.C. Police Department under federal control and deploying the National Guard to make the nation's capital safer.
President Trump is invoking a provision of the Home Rule Act allowing the federal government to temporarily take control of the Washington, D.C. Police Department.
This issue directly impacts the functioning of the federal government and is a threat to America. Really, it's a threat to our country.
The president says he will also deploy National Guard troops in D.C. to join federal law enforcement agencies. Crime rates in D.C. spiked in 2023, but Metropolitan Police data shows a declining crime rate last year and so far this year. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
And President Trump's highly anticipated meeting with Russian President Putin will take place Friday in Alaska. Fox's Gernal Scott.
Vice President Vance said on Fox's Sunday Morning Futures he talked to President Trump, who told him there's no way to know the outcome of these talks.
Maybe this works out, maybe it doesn't, but it's worth the effort. It's worth trying.
The vice president said there is pressure being put on Europe in this conflict because he notices a shift here at home.
The president and I certainly think that America, we're done with the funding of the Ukraine war business. We want to bring about a peaceful settlement to this thing.
The vice president said the goal is to find a settlement the sides can live with in peace. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
And a federal judge in New York is denying a Justice Department attempt to unseal grand jury transcripts in the case against Ghislaine Maxwell, the Epstein accomplice convicted for her role in the sex trafficking of underage girls. The judge saying the Justice Department was being disingenuous. The DOJ requested the release after the Trump administration faced criticism for not releasing the so-called Epstein files. America is listening to Fox News.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe, and if you want to do business with a company that actually stands for something, switch to Pure Talk. I did. Sure, I appreciate being on America's most dependable 5G network with unlimited talk and text for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is Pure Talk's commitment to our military and to our skilled workforce. That matters to me. Save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
No real change in our weather pattern. There's a front just hanging and waving around, and that keeps us kind of typical summer. Partly sunny. It's kind of hot and humid. A couple of thunderstorms around, some with downpours and lightning. 93 for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy. A few thunderstorms here and there. It's warm. It's humid. 74. Tuesday, partly sunny, humid. Some scattered storms. 91. Do that again on Wednesday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for HVAC services, aircomfortservice.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
I'm not America's sweetheart. goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
A short while ago in the Oval Office, President Trump signed 2 crucial executive actions to deal with the emergency crime conditions we currently face in the District of Columbia. The first of these was an executive order, as President Trump said before, invoking his powers under Section 40 of the Home Rule Act to take federal control of the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department. Along with that executive order, President Trump signed the statutorily required notification letters to Mayor Bowser and to the relevant House and Senate committee leaders. The second major executive action that President Trump signed was a presidential memorandum directing the Secretary of Defense to utilize the National Guard to address the conditions we see on our streets here in D.C. It also authorized the Secretary of Defense to work with state governors to utilize their National Guard units if necessary as well. These are bold, decisive steps intended to combat the out-of-control crime conditions we've seen on D.C.'s streets for far too long. And I, for one, am deeply proud to be part of an administration that's finally coming to terms with these issues, sir.
So, you know that voice, that, of course, is one Will Scharf, and he was speaking at the podium. Yeah, that one that had the presidential seal on it, because the President of the United States addressed the nation essentially through the press briefing room this morning with a lot of people in his cabinet included in that room. They were mentioning multiple times during the questioning, the briefing, that this was the most people they'd ever seen in that room. I remember being in there and thinking, like, gosh, this place is pretty packed. There's not a lot of extra space. And then when they would pan and show the room, I thought, that is a lot of people in there right now. Welcome to the Annie Fry Show. Happy Monday. There is a lot of news to talk about, and we are here to talk about it all. But this key issue from this morning is the fact that President Trump takes control of Metro Police, deploys National Guard to take on Washington crime. That's the Fox News report. And just a little bit more from Fox on this issue. They're here saying that President Donald Trump announced that he is activating the National Guard troops and is taking over the Metropolitan PD to tackle crime in Washington after beefing up federal law enforcement presence in the nation's capital this weekend on Saturday. President Trump also said that he would federalize the Metropolitan Police Department in Washington to respond to crime, placing it under the authority of Attorney General Pam Bondi. Now, the first question that comes to my mind when I'm seeing all of this is, gosh, can you do this all across the country? Are there other places in the United States where you can do this? And the truth of the matter is, it really depends on exactly how this is initiated, because D.C. isn't in a state. So when ICE was put into California, didn't Gavin Newsom sue the Trump administration, say, no, that these people are under my control, and they lost.
Yeah, that he had to give control, or give approval.
That's not true. That's not true, Gavin. I don't really understand fully the implementation of how this could be replicated other places, but the fact that D.C., District of Columbia, isn't part of a state and doesn't have that higher level of government structure, like if in St. Louis we've seen the state take over. Is the state in control of the police department?
This state?
In Missouri, in charge of?
I think yes, but it's complicated.
If it's not actually in the process, it's a constant point of discussion.
Yes.
The epitome of a civilized society is one that embraces law and order. That can't be underappreciated. And it's so important to go back to, all the way back to, at least in my time of covering news and politics and paying attention to, when Barack Obama became the president of the United States, he made a lot of promises to people. He made promises to people that were not measurably accomplishable. So it's all relative. When somebody promises you hope and change, you could change things for the worse and still deliver on that promise. So if you change things, especially if you change them dramatically, it's really up to the eye of the beholder as to whether or not that change was, in fact, a good one that you would want more of. Barack Obama came in and pointed to all of us and tried to say, here's your victimhood. Tried to highlight all of the reasons why people might individually, case by case, you sitting in your car right now, going to get lunch, the people at the stoplight that are sitting right behind you, those people too. He talked to each and every one of us individually to try to tap into something that pulled the heartstrings to make us go, I think Barack Obama sees me. I'm like, stop looking at me, Swan. Can you say stop looking at me without thinking, Swan, at the end?
No, that's not possible in America.
Is it stop looking at me or quit looking at me?
Stop.
That's what I thought. Say it the right way.
Stop looking at me.
Say
Are you asking
quote,
me to stop there?
I want the tone from the movie.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
Some of you know what we're talking about.
Everybody knows.
No, not everybody. My dad doesn't.
Okay, sorry.
Dad, I would say you should watch Billy Madison, but maybe you shouldn't. There's no way that boomers who have never seen Billy Madison are going to tap into Billy Madison and go, that's brilliant.
Not now. It's been 30 years.
If you don't know, you don't know. If you don't know why shampoo is better, then you just need to go on with your life, and that ship is
You've
sailed.
lived a fine life. Without that phrase.
Barack Obama spent his political career trying to permeate your heart and soul. And here's the key thing. And if you didn't listen to Larry Alex Taunton talking to us on Friday, please go back and listen to that interview, because he has such a wonderful voice when it comes to the cultural aspects of what's going on right now. And all of that cultural stuff precedes the politics that follow. It's so important. And for my worldview, he articulates it in such an impactful way that I love listening to what he has to say on these types of issues. His name, again, is Larry Alex Taunton. He's got a YouTube channel, Ideas Have Consequences. But when you consider the Barack Obama method of piercing your heart and soul and making sure that you feel seen by this man who's going to Washington, D.C. for me. He's going to help me, to represent me. That is an emotional thing. That makes you want to not just vote for him, but like activate for him. The problem with it, and this is what goes back to that interview with Larry Alex Taunton, the opposition to the enemy of ultimately communism, but specifically in that conversation we were talking about fascism and socialism, all of these things that come together where the government starts to wrap its arms around everything, and you will just be at the behest of whatever they deem necessary for you to have. And they won't deem it necessary for you to have if it's not of a benefit to the power structure that is the government. He said something, Larry Alex Taunton said something last Friday that really, like, it's like, oh, you ever have like a thought in your head, like, you know the thought, you understand the concept, but somebody says it in such a way that makes you go, yes. He said the enemy of fascism isn't out there. It's not some world power. It's not somebody who's got guns pointed at you, or threats, or that type of economic power in a separate country doing something completely different than the way we do it here in America. The enemy of fascism in this country is the American people. The structure that exists in this democratic republic that we have, a republic which is a democracy that looks to the Constitution as its governing body, not just whoever happens to be in the majority at any change of the wind in time. The Constitution oversees our democratic republic. So we have these standards that we've agreed upon, and it governs us. The enemy of an overpowering government structure is a free people. It's really important to understand today, specifically while Donald Trump is winning with such high frequency, the importance of understanding all of that is to be able to know when the free people threaten the structure, that structure is leaning towards fascism. Now, some people are going to say that Donald Trump, King Trump, is taking over the law enforcement of Washington, D.C., and this is something that a dictator would do. There are going to be people who, I haven't seen that a lot, but I haven't watched. This happened within the last 90 minutes that he had this press conference. So I haven't seen a lot of alternative media quite yet on this. But people are going to suggest that Donald Trump this is government overreach, this is big government. But folks, don't fall for that. That's such an easy play because it's another emotional heart tug. You're supposed to be afraid of your government. These people who are going to advocate right now that the government, that President Trump, that King Trump is overreaching and taking over the police departments in Washington, D.C., they're trying to make you more afraid of Donald Trump than the 14-year-olds that are murdering people in the streets of Washington, D.C., in the crime that is out of hand in Washington, D.C. And by doing that, by trying to shift your anger and your feelings against Donald Trump, in this particular instance, they are protecting the incredibly violent criminals in Washington, D.C. from actually having to be policed. The foundation of a civilized and free society is the understanding and respect of law and order. And you can think back all the way to 2008, maybe even a little bit before that, as Barack Obama was coming on the scene, that at every corner, the people on the left who hate the free people of the United States of America are trying to upend law and order. The previous Democrat nominee for president bailed people out of rioting and burning and looting things. Kamala Harris was freeing people from being detained for her own political power. That is an enemy of a free people. We hear over and over and over again from these crazies on the left, this violent rhetoric that they then throw back at Donald Trump. You could go back to the impeachment of Donald Trump, part 2, after he had already lost the election. You can go back and you can see where they tried to throw against Donald Trump all of his phrases. What do you remember some of the phrases that he would use? They're like, we're here. But he'd be talking about political war with opponents over and over and over again.
Oh yeah, bloodbath stuff like that.
Bloodbath, that was a
more recent one.
They were working very hard to make sure that everybody understands. Do you know how scary Donald Trump is? Do you hear the type of language this was after January 6th? Do you hear about the language that he's using? The way he's talking? This is a scary dude. And then Donald Trump's lawyers played, I believe it was an 18-plus minute clip of the Maxine Waters of the world saying, you get in there, you see him at a where?
Gasoline station.
Not a gas station, but a gasoline station. And you confront them. You get up in their face. And it's just person after person after person. They do the very thing. They work to disrupt everything. And when the president of the United States comes up and goes, hey, folks, this is serious stuff. We got to fight back. They're like, he wants to fight us. Beto O'Rourke. Just this weekend.
Going to let him stop us. Are you with me on that? Ándale. It also means, as Mark was saying earlier, we don't await the punch thrown by these would-be fascists to land. We punch first, and we punch harder. We want California and New Jersey and Illinois and Maryland and every other state where the Democrats hold the governor's mansion, the assembly, and the state senate to redraw their congressional districts now, not wait for Texas to move first, to maximize Democratic Party advantage. Listen, you may say to yourself, well, those aren't the rules. There are no refs in this game. The rules. We are going to win whatever it takes. We're going to take this to them in every way that we can.
F the rules. We're going to take this to them in every way we can. If Donald Trump said that today, he would be rightfully criticized for that type of commentary being inflammatory. Guys, they talk about this. They've been talking about this long before Republicans in their stuffy suits and their super straight ties and their perfectly coiffed hair. They've decided, okay, the battle. I've been trying to win a game without an opponent on the field that they try to set with the rules that they try to set for a long time. The Democrats have been in the streets fighting these fights and bailing people out who are actually physically engaged in violence and rioting and absolute mayhem. The Democrats have stoked that. They funded it. You know the people. You know the Soroses of the world who have injected their funds into chaos, into attorney races and places exactly like Kim Gardner in St. Louis. You know all about this. And the president steps up on behalf of the American people today and says law and order will be reinstated. You can't handle it. You can't do the job yourself. Daddy's home. Daddy's here in Washington, D.C., and we will restore law and order. And when you feel like you can have nice things again, come show us that you can. And maybe I'll let you have the keys to the car once more. Donald Trump, back in business, law and order restored. Like I said, the absolute predicate for any sort of civilization is to respect a law and order. And thank God we have a president who's willing to do that. Brad Halbrook's going to be with us next. He's an Illinois state representative, of course, in the 107th District. Have you had an outrageous power bill lately? I have. Have you, Ryan? Have you seen your power bills lately?
Like crazy.
Jump. Make you super mad when you're like, what the actual whatever Beto O'Rourke just said?
Yep.
Brad Halbrook's going to talk to us about why that might be happening on the Annie Frey Show next.
Who will save me from all I'm up against out in this world?
STS Armory wants to make sure that even in the state of Illinois, you have the ability to use your Second Amendment as you see fit. And of course, that comes with a lot of responsibility. You already know that. All of the things that you need top to bottom, as far as somebody who is a Second Amendment, I will say user in the state of Illinois, you can go to STS Armory and they will help you. It starts with education. For the folks out there who have not ever had a firearm before, but you want to be able to provide your own self-defense while you're waiting those, 3 minutes for the authorities to get there and hopefully neutralize some sort of threatening situation. They have basic training classes for you to walk in and be like, gosh, I know nothing, but I need to learn. The best thing you can do in that scenario is turn yourself over to experts who can teach you everything you need to know. And STS Armory in Pontoon Beach, Illinois are the best at it. You can call them at 618-931-GUNS, 618-931-GUNS. Tell them what you're trying to do. Make sure you get your FOID card. You don't know what that is? You need one, and they will help you get it. You can also talk to them about training classes that they have available. STS-armory.com.
You've got a ton of equity in your home. You're sitting on a gold mine, and you could do so much with all that cash, like travel, invest it, or pay off debt, but you can't touch it unless you sell your home. But you really don't want to move. And besides, homes are sitting on the market for a long time these days. You're trapped, right? Well, not with TrueHold. With TrueHold, you can cash out your equity in as little as 30 days. And listen, you don't have to move. You can stay in the home you love as a renter. So that's TrueHold's Sell and Stay program. You cash out your entire home's value and stay put. TrueHold even covers property taxes, property insurance, and essential repairs. So imagine using that equity to travel, invest, or pay off debt and stay in your home. It's brilliant, especially in this slow market. You get an all-cash offer now by calling 1-855-300-9993. You can also visit TrueHold.com, the smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Viking, dedicated to creating travel experiences for the thinking person, with programs designed for cultural enrichment on board and on shore. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com. Viking.com.
Family focused, faith filled, always on point. It's the Annie Fry Show.
Ryan Garrett owns a Barris Bar and Restaurant in Villa Grove. Garrett says he was shocked to see his power bill was $1,000 higher than expected. Now he is forced to decide between cutting employee hours and adjusting his service.
It seems like it always trickles down to the little guy, like us, because your big companies like your food suppliers, your things like that, they're not going to take a loss. So it all comes down to me.
So $1,000 increase on the power bill for that restaurant owner. I have experienced this myself, probably about a 45% increase from one month to the next on my power bill. And I had been hearing rumblings of it. And like an idiot, I was like, maybe it's not. Oh my God, it happened to us. Why are the power bills so enormous? And also, do we know for sure, is this a Missouri, St. Louis situation? In addition to Illinois?
I know that it's Illinois.
It for sure is Illinois. Well, I want to talk to somebody who's been paying attention to this issue and has some knowledge on it. That's my friend, Illinois State Representative Brad Halbrook with us. Once again, represents the 107th District. Representative, thanks for being with us today. This is an issue that is plaguing a lot of people, certainly in the state of Illinois.
Well, it certainly is, and this is growing exponentially out of proportion rather quickly here this summer as we see we're kind of into a warmer summer, but these rates are just crazy high.
Yes, they are. And, we've gone through hot summers. We have these hot summers. I've never seen a bill go from one month to the next and jump personally, just anecdotally, but I've been seeing it and hearing it from all of our listeners. Can you explain to us what happened to cause these enormous rate jumps that people cannot afford?
Right. Well, so it goes back maybe as early as 2016 when the Future Energy Jobs Act was passed. That was a ratepayer subsidy to bail out some nuclear plants in Illinois. It was about a $700 million ratepayer subsidy to prop up some nuclear plants across the state of Illinois. Then the fast forward to 2021, CEJA, the Clean Equity Jobs Act, came into being. It was more ratepayer subsidies to fund different Equity Jobs Act, different kind of programs, all kinds of conservation efforts. The list goes on and on and on. And so we see that about 20% of the power bill is a state mandated thing, whether it's the sales tax or some other kind of a tax or a surcharge, or it's just the ratepayers are going to subsidize these other kind of things that the environmentalists think are important to, making things better to live in the state of Illinois. And so it's just a combination of all these things. And then part two of that, or another part of that is, the premature closure of gas and coal-fired electrical generation facilities across the state of Illinois. And so, when you take production offline and demand continues to grow, more and more people have battery-powered devices that have to be recharged. The data center thing continues to require more energy. All these things, demand is increasing, supply is decreasing, and the alternative energy sources of wind and solar are just not coming online fast enough. And so it's just a combination of a lot of things, Annie, that's just driving this cost up.
We're speaking with Representative Brad Halbrook, the 107th District Illinois State Representative there in the General Assembly in Springfield, Illinois. So let me break this down just a little bit, I want to be super basic with this next question. If the energy initiatives by the supermajority of Democrats in Springfield and Governor Pritzker, if the energy initiatives had not been implemented, would we still be seeing price increases right now just due to the energy suppliers?
Yeah, I don't think so. When they put a timeline to say, okay, you've got to be at X percent carbon emission by this date, and these coal-fired facilities look at that, they quit spending money to maintain those facilities. I mean, there's just constantly ongoing maintenance into these different facilities, whether it's coal, natural gas, nuclear, whatever. And so if they say, look, we know that we're going to have to close by this date, we're going to quit spending money on it. And so they just take them offline eventually. I mean, now the governor will say, well, they're just not economically feasible. Well, you've put these arbitrary dates in front of them. They're not going to spend money right up to that date and then just quit producing. I mean, it's just not a good return on their investment. So I think if they would have been left alone, the market would have decided. They would have continued to maintain their facilities. I don't think that there's any better bang for your buck that you can get from energy production than coal. Now, some would argue maybe nuclear is a less expensive way to do business when it comes to electrical generation, but coal is a fairly low-cost production of energy.
Representative Halbrook, this is Ryan. It sounds like what you're saying is that this is a politically manufactured issue. So my question is, are the politicians aware of what they've done? Are they addressing it? Are they talking about it?
Well, I hope they're aware, because I don't think it matters who your representative is or who your senator is, Republican or Democrat. ComEd customers and Ameren customers reside in everybody's district all across this state. We're getting the emails. We're getting the calls. I'm seeing the comments on my social media posts, whether it's a YouTube thing that we're put out or, something on social, Facebook or X. We see the comments. They've got to be seeing them too. We made the call, if you will, back the Republican members of the House Energy and Environment Committee. We asked for subject matter hearings before we left Springfield the end of May to address this oncoming crisis, if you will, that was politically manufactured. We knew that Ameren had already stated that the rates were going to be 18 to 22% higher because of the capacity auction that had been held in April. And so we said, look, we know that we're on the brink of something here really disastrous. And they told us, the chairwoman of the committee said, well, maybe we'll do something in the second week of June. That's come and gone. We've continued to put the call out. We put, in this press conference we had last week, we continued to talk about that. And it just falls on deaf ears. So I don't really understand what they're thinking or what their plan is, other than I think if they do convene a hearing, that they're not going to like what they're going to hear. But we have to have these subject matter experts in. We need to have people from the industry in. We need to have consumers in. This is like this, gentleman at the Bar and Grill in Villa Grove that you guys played the press conference. We were over there on Thursday. Got to have those people in and say, this is real stuff that's hurting us, and we got to have some action now.
Yeah, man. I'm going to have to dip into my savings to pay my electric bill for the last month. And I'm thinking right now about the people who are on fixed incomes. What are these people supposed to do? And I'm going to be the last person in line who comes up and says, like, what is the Illinois state government going to do with the taxpayer dollars that they don't have to help people try to solve this problem? Is there a workable solution that could be put into place right now, even retrofitted, to provide Illinois residents, people who just want to make sure that their house isn't 85 degrees in these crazy summers? Is there anything that can be done in your mind to help immediately?
Right. So I think there's a couple things that, and of course, it would take some level of legislative action, but the governor or the speaker could call us back. But I think we need to clear the way immediately to give nuclear construction a clean path forward, right? We just have got to remove, if there's any barriers left to nuclear plant construction, the Illinois General Assembly needs to get out of the way of that right now. Whatever they need to do, that needs to happen now. The other thing that's in CEJA was a provision that the grid operator could make an appeal to the ICC or it's IEPA. Get my agencies correct. I think they could make an appeal to EPA to say, look, we're going to need more demand, and you need to roll the caps back on the production of natural gas. I think if they would roll those caps that were put into that CEJA bill on natural gas energy production, that would help. Because that would allow them. I mean, there's natural gas plants that have way more capacity to produce electricity than they can legally do, if you will. So that would be another thing. And I think, get out of the way, repeal some measures in CEJA these net zero or carbon emissions. I think they need to repeal some of that stuff and get these coal plants back operational again.
But, if Republicans had a little bit more weight currently in the super minority, of course, J.B. Pritzker trying to be President Pritzker, working very hard to be on a national stage instead of seeing to the issues of Illinois residents on issues that we're talking about right now. Any of the things you just listed, will the Democrats entertain any of those thoughts?
Well, I think there's some interest in the nuclear thing, but if you start going down the road today of a nuclear power plant construction, I don't know if you can get it done in 10 years. Okay, that's a long-term deal. Natural gas, I think you can get those put up a whole bunch quicker. But again, we could roll those taps back. That would bring some immediate relief, I think, going into winter especially. May not do much right now because I think there's some things baked in that is going to be difficult to manage, but maybe going into winter, that would be a possibility. And then I think maybe the medium-term level of relief would be rolling back some of the emission standards to allow to bring some coal plants back online. And again, once those facilities are mothballed, or I don't really know how that might play out. We used to think that once you mothball a nuclear plant, that's never coming back. But we're seeing how that plays out now with 3 Mile Island and maybe one other across the nation. So the Illinois General Assembly needs to do something. The Democrat leaders need to do something, because when you add 40-50% onto anybody's bill, whether it's somebody on a fixed income or this business owner or anybody in between, or a large manufacturing facility, that's real money, and it's transferring that wealth from somebody to somebody else. And the question I have is, who's getting that and why?
Right.
We've got to have these answers sooner than later.
Real quick before we let you go, we're speaking with Illinois State Representative Brad Halbrook. For people who are listening right now, obviously you're a Republican representing the 107th District. For people who are listening right now, I've done many events with Representative Halbrook, and you have been a constant fighter for common sense, even when it doesn't seem like Illinois Republicans have a whole lot of hope. You've always been there working very hard to represent those people. We are going into an election year. Obviously, get involved. For people listening right now, get involved, donate, use your time, use your money to support Republican candidates to help bring the state some common sense. But on this particular issue right now, does it make a difference if people are calling Katie Stewart, who's right across the river in the 112th, to talk to her about this, to call Amy Ellick, who is advocating for common sense on this issue as well? She's my representative. What can people do on this issue right now to help push change?
Yeah, I think they have to be calling the legislators on both sides. And again, I've talked to enough of my colleagues. I know the emails and calls are getting. And again, I trust the ones in your area, the Democrats. I hope that they're getting the same emails. I think that we need to put the calls into the chairwoman of the House Energy and Environment Committee from Champaign-Urbana and demand that these hearings be held sooner than later and get this thing under control. I just don't know why they are ignoring these calls, but that needs to be done.
Yes, it does. Representative Halbrook, thank you for the time today on a Monday afternoon. We're grateful for it, and we're going to keep in touch and see if there's any progress made on this issue for those people not able to afford these power bills, for sure.
You're welcome, and call anytime.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. The 107th District Representative Brad Halbrook, great to have him here. Drove to his district and did a speaking engagement for a Christmas party, I think it might have been, and lots of events. He comes to Effingham. I've been there with him, just a lot of different places. He's a great guy, great representative, represents those people very well, and I'm glad he gave us some time this afternoon. Let's take a quick break. We're gonna skip a segment here. We're gonna go straight to Wiggins America next.
Sounds good to me.
Hope you got a lot of stuff.
I got great stuff.
This power bill issue, if people understand who's on what side of this issue in the state of Illinois, will move people to pay attention.
Yes, it will.
You don't have a choice.
You know what I'm worried about, though, is that we got maybe one or two more really bad bills coming, and then you're going to have fall. And so if something doesn't happen fast, this winter is going to be awful.
Outrageous.
Because winter's always worse than summer anyway.
Our YouTube poll for today is on this issue. Have you experienced an outrageous power bill in the last 6 months? Yes or no? I'm wondering I'm hearing a lot about this issue, but I'm wondering how many of you are actually affected about it. So get on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. And also your anecdotes. We would love to have your comments today on the live chat poll. So throw them in the YouTube live chat. Wiggins America, the Monday Roundup next. Home Shield Foundation Repairs with an S.com. If your concrete has shifted and now is unlevel, you might have a safety issue on your hand. Yeah, concrete cracks, people know that. But when it becomes a trip hazard, a safety hazard at your home, you don't want to be dealing with that. And you're thinking to yourself, good grief, how do I fix this? I'm pouring concrete, that's expensive. Is this what I have to do? So you kind of avoid it and you ignore it and you stub your toe or you trip over it. You're carrying the groceries and you know it's there and it's just like, gosh, can I just get this resolved? Because, folks, it's going to get worse. These things do not correct themselves. They just get worse over time. Matt Hayes and his team at Home Shield Foundation Repaired, a locally owned, family-owned and operated business, can help you in a cost-effective way by using polyjacking. Talk to them about it. It comes with a 5-year warranty as well, so you know that your work is going to be done and supported in that regard. 314-227-9636. 314-227-9636. Call Home Shield Foundation Repair. Talk to Matt. Have him come out and give it a look-see. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Men. Need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
Attention St. Louis Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one who lives with you. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care, helping you with preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more.
A family member or friend that gets paid weekly. This Medicaid program is available to eligible St. Louis residents.
New to Medicaid? The Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 7,000 5-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. If you live in the St. Louis area,
this service is available through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers can choose to get paid weekly. So go to freedomcare.com now, or for faster service, call 314-697-4912. 314-697-4912. That's 314-697-4912.
Well, if you're just tuning in, you missed our conversation with Brad Halbrook from Illinois State Representative 107 District. That was a great conversation because it was about this big idea that everybody's power bill is going up. We would like to hear from you on this subject, today's YouTube live chat poll. Have you experienced an outrageous power bill in the last 6 months, yes or no? I will add to that. We want to hear your stories, and we also want to hear from you if you don't live in Illinois and you're like, no, this isn't happening to me, or it is, because we don't know. So let us know what you think about the poll today. It is 12:43. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules.
Infinite Vitality in Glen Carbon, Illinois. Folks, when you're thinking about your health, when you're thinking about your middle age, and you just kind of agree that, I guess, when I get older, things just start to deteriorate. I want to really, really give you an opportunity to pause and think about whether or not you're accepting that just as the truth or whether you're interested in challenging that. Because infinite vitality in Glen Carbon can challenge that. It's happening for me with the hormone replacement therapy that I'm using right now, getting a panel done so that I can see what my numbers are so that we can move those numbers into a more vitality focused place for my life. Huge difference at age 41 in my ability to live life and not feel like everything's being done to me. I'm participating in life again in a way that after having 4 children and running around like a chicken with my head cut off all the time, just feeling like, gosh, I'm having trouble keeping up. Infinite Vitality can get you your vitality back, men and women alike, for weight loss, for energy, for getting rid of the brain fog, for getting through the whole day. This place is a place you can trust. Don't sleep on challenging that idea that age is just going to deteriorate you for the rest of your life. Live your life. 618-486-1888. 618-486-1888. Call them. Mention my name, and you're going to have an opportunity to save on select services. Infinite-vitality.com.
25 years strong. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Lazy yellow moon coming up tonight, shining through the trees. Crickets are singing and lightning bugs are floating on the breeze.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We're happy to be with you on a Monday afternoon. The president started the big news cycle today announcing that the Trump administration is taking control of the Metro Police and deploying the National Guard to take on Washington crime. This is a huge story. We did play at the top of the hour. Will Scharf coming on to the it's not a stage. It is a stage. But going to the podium and presenting, as he is apt to do, the executive orders that the president had signed just before they came out to this press briefing. You said you watched this press briefing?
Yeah, well, the majority of it. It was very long.
Did you see the part where he was taking questions?
Yes, although I had a meeting. It's what's funny how long that was. It was almost an hour and a half long press conference, maybe a little longer. And I had a meeting in the middle of it, and I came back, and it was still going.
His relationship with the press is so different right now. And I can't imagine that he would be the person who took the first step towards being like, let's try being respectful with one another. He has to have felt something in his exchange with the media. Something has shifted. And it might just be the case that even when you turn on CNN at this point in time, you're still seeing people who you're seeing the Harry Entons of the world, and they're like, I know this doesn't make you guys happy, but Trump is killing it. He's doing great. So it's like he's winning, and they can't not report on it, and maybe he's flattered by it. But he has, when he came out, the first thing that he was talking about when he came out to have this press conference was that all of the people in the room work in Washington, D.C., and will benefit from a safer D.C. He's like, he basically said at one point something to the effect of, I know a lot of you are liberals, but this will make you safe too, and everybody has the right to be safe. Mm-hmm. He was like, even liberals should benefit from a safe society.
And he said in his Trump way, too, he said, look, all of you, nobody here wants to get shot, murdered, or raped.
Yes.
You're like,
and he's
yeah,
like,
that's
some of you have, or mugged was one of the things. Like,
Yeah,
some of you have
robbed.
been or know people who have. And this is for all of us. And he's right.
Yeah. I just want to add really quick. This is, you're going to think like, where's he going with this? This is the fascist playbook, though. Because on one hand, you have a group of people who want desperately to have unfettered power. And when they have it, they enact the most stringent, controlled rules. We saw it during COVID. Those people. Then what they do is, instead of being able to take full power in a place like America, we're very resistant to that. They create as much chaos as they can, wherever they can, so that people will cry out for safety.
For government.
So that they can step in and take control. That what they're mad about right now is not that Trump is taking control. It's that Trump is taking control.
Well, and please, if you didn't listen to the beginning of the show, I lay this out very, very specifically, that anybody who wants to look and point at President Trump like he's some sort of dictator or like this is government overreach, taking over the local police department, they want you to be more afraid of Donald Trump, which they are, to your point, Ryan. They want you to be more afraid of Donald Trump than the literal violence and chaos that's existing in the streets of the United States of America. It's more important for you to be politically afraid of Donald Trump than actual juvenile delinquents with illegal guns in the streets of Washington, D.C. while you're coming from point A to point B to do your job.
Yeah.
That's where it's absolutely laughable.
They would have let this crime stuff go on as much and as long as they could until people said enough, and then they would have taken control with really heavy hand.
Yeah.
Wiggins!
Monday Roundup! Yeah! This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness!
Trump is doing it before they can do it.
Yeah.
That's what they're mad about.
Thank God. Somebody's doing it.
All right. And he's like, okay, good. At least somebody's addressing the crime that they are causing and allowing to happen. All right, the Monday Roundup, these are stories that maybe fell through the cracks for you over the weekend, but I'm making sure that we shine a bright light on them.
The more stories that fall through the cracks on your weekend probably indicates you had a great weekend.
Yeah, probably. So, first of all, Paramount is buying the UFC rights after this big merger that's been in the news involving all these different celebrities and everybody criticizing them. Paramount is acquiring the rights for UFC fights, $7.7 billion for the next 7 years. Are you guys UFC fans?
No. I'm a fan of the people in the UFC. I don't understand how humans watch stuff like that and are entertained by it.
Brad?
I would, my initial reaction say, yes, I am, but I don't ever watch it, so I don't know that I am.
I know.
I think I'm kind of like Annie. I'm a fan of the people that are in it, but
I went through a period when I was in my late 20s where all my friends were having parties before we had kids, and they'd have parties and they'd buy a UFC fight. We'd all come over, we'd have some beers, and we'd watch. And I never could figure out, I enjoyed the party. I tried really hard to enjoy the fight. I just never really got into it. I knew some of the names.
It's
and
savage.
That was it.
And I understand that the people, it's not like, what, in gladiator days, like the people who were fighting in that weren't they like criminals that would fight the gladiators?
Oh, well.
For entertainment?
It depends, yeah.
But that UFC people are making boatloads of money to fight in these fights. They're electing, they're training, they love it. There's no cause here to fight for. I just am not interested.
Yeah. I learned some of the names and the terms. One
It's
of them
huge.
that stuck with me was cauliflower ear.
Ew. I know that from wrestling. My buddies who would wrestle in that. I really love my dear friends who wrestled, but that was gross.
It is. It's very gross. Cauliflower ear is not something that leaves you. It stuck with me for 15 years.
It's also way too descriptive of a term.
And it's true. It's what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's, oh, gosh.
Oh.
Why did I even bring it up? I don't know.
I think it's because you hate me.
I do.
You
I
do?
mean, I do. Let's just be honest.
Oh.
All right, next story. Since we're doing some serious entertainment here, I would never actually say I hate you except for to be entertaining. AOL is set to shut down dial-up internet service.
That's so sad.
Can you believe it that it's still going?
I was going to say I can't believe that you could still access it.
Not anymore. You can't.
There's nothing like the thrill of that sound when you were trying to over and over and over connect to the internet.
Uh-huh.
Kids, look at here. Now listen closely because I'm from the 1900s. You had to pause and wait because sometimes when you went to get on the internet was busy.
Yeah.
And it just would give you a busy tone, which you also may not know what a busy tone is.
Right.
You would try to contact somebody, and there was like a way to contact people, and you would just get a beep, beep, and beep, and then you'd hang up, and you'd give it another go. You had to do that for the internet. The internet would be like, not right now, I'm busy. And then you'd try to connect again, and then it would make this sound. Just do it with your mouth.
Beep.
It is Ryan's biggest talent
Yeah.
that he can do that sound
with his mouth and throat.
The first noise was not me. That was a sound effect. The beep.
Isn't that crazy to think that the internet would be too busy for you at that moment?
Can you believe that people, do you remember this? People in your house would not know you were on the internet, and they'd pick up the phone, and they'd kick you off. And you go, no! And you can hear them talking.
Isn't it crazy that you'd need to contact people and you'd have to pick up a phone?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey,
It was attached to the wall, children.
The only time people now might get a busy signal is if they're trying to win Styx tickets by listening to the Mark Cox Morning Show.
You butchered that.
I did. I was trying to do a nice promo for them.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, you treated that like it was a promo for this show.
Yeah. And I was not trying to.
That's like when I get out of bed in the morning, that's what it sounds like.
It's our hair when it's humid.
That's what it sounded like for me before Infinite Vitality.
Oh.
And now, fiber.
Very good. Very good. All right. Harvard physicist says that a massive interstellar object could be an alien probe on a reconnaissance mission.
Man, I'll tell you what, when the Democrats start freaking out, two things happen every time. One of them is aliens. The other is shootings.
This one is aliens. Hopefully not aliens and shootings at the same time. Alien or shootings from aliens.
That's the last story that they have. When that happens,
we're there.
Something's about to go down.
Yeah, astronomers recently discovered a rare interstellar object passing through our solar system, and a Harvard physicist is sounding the alarm that its strange characteristics might indicate it's more than just a typical comet.
You good?
No, it's Monday. Maybe the trajectory was designed, says Dr. Avi Loeb, science professor at Harvard. So this thing, they're saying it could be, I like that it's not just a possible alien, but it's coming back here on a reconnaissance mission. That's pretty specific. Like, you had me until, no, we know the motives of the aliens also. All right, inside the world of professional back scratching, for some reason, was making news.
I know more of than the UFC.
You know more about this than that. Okay.
Yes.
So this is a real...
I'm at least interested in having my back scratched from time to time.
This is a real profession, charging $130 an hour for it.
Is it just like prostitution?
No, it has nothing to do with anything.
I'll scratch your back
sexual.
for $130 an hour?
Yes, and that's the low end.
Do you get your back scratched for an hour?
For an hour. Would you need an hour of back scratching?
Depends. Is it for an itch or something else?
Maybe
got an itch for something else.
There's nothing weird about it. They just say it's just
Ryan,
they have these big nails.
That's your opinion.
And then they scratch a little bit.
They have these big nails?
They have these big nails. They've been doing this since 2010, and it is a successful business. Their account has been viewed 15 million times. For $250, so even a little bit more, clients can enjoy the ASMR massage. So they'll make noises.
That's like waterboarding in my mind. See more next. Don't go away.
Big news for gun owners. Mark Cox here for the Range St. Louis West. You know, the big, beautiful bill eliminates the $200 tax stamp on suppressors next January, but the Range is celebrating right now. They're holding a sweepstakes for a new suppressor at the Range. The Range will give you a $300 credit toward the new suppressor, and they'll pay for the tax stamp. Suppressors protect your hearing, and they improve your accuracy. Sign up to win at therangestl.com/971 before August 15th.
At the Little Bit Foundation, their philosophy is simple. Remove barriers to learning and empower under-resourced students to success in the classroom and beyond. Little Bit currently serves 17,000 students in 54 schools in the St. Louis metro area, including many impacted by the recent tornado. Join Together Credit Union in supporting the Little Bit Foundation's mission by contributing to their back-to-school drive at all 14 local branch locations during the month of July. For more information about the Little Bit Foundation and how you can support their mission, visit thelittlebitfoundation.org.
AirComfortService.com. We're talking about power bills and how they're outrageous right now. If you've got an AC system that sucks or blows, but not cold air, Air Comfort Service can help you with that. You cannot put yourself in a position right now to be overusing that AC service on top of these crazy rates that people are having to pay. If you want to have Air Comfort Service come out, check out the system that you have right now, 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091. They can come to Illinois. They've worked on my home. You can have them Make sure your system is ready to handle this heat by offering the Preferred Partner Plan. That gets your entire HVAC system checked twice a year for just $19 a month. Think about the savings. If you pay monthly on the Preferred Plan, you get your 12th month free as well. 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. AirComfortService.com.
That baby's gone!
Cardinals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your home of the Cardinals.
That ball was mashed.
And there are more ways to watch this season.
Holy cow!
Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream the Cardinals without blackouts.
How about that play?
Or watch through a TV provider.
Incredible!
Including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more.
He got it!
Learn more at cardinals.com/TV.
Ball game! It couldn't have worked out any better for the Cardinals.
Mark Cox here. Let me introduce you to my friends at the Lit Cigar Lounge in St. Louis, where luxury meets comfort. Premium hand-rolled cigars, an extensive selection of rare bourbons and whiskeys and craft cocktails. It's comfortable for non-smokers, too. They have a state-of-the-art ventilation system. They have private lockers and live music every Friday night, perfect for date nights or business meetings or just winding down. Visit litstl.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
A capital rescue. I'm Kevin Uretsky, Fox News. President Trump declared this morning he's liberating Washington, D.C. from crime, bedlam, and squalor by putting the D.C. Metro Police Department under direct federal control.
You want to have safety in the streets. You want to be able to leave your apartment or your house where you live and feel safe and go into a store to buy a newspaper or buy something. And you don't have that now.
The White House also announcing National Guard troops will be deployed. There will be work to end the no-cash bail statute and seamless local and federal enforcement, as well as massive targeting of known gangs and criminal aliens, saying it will happen fairly quickly and D.C. will become a very safe city again. Washington Mayor Muriel Bowser says D.C. needs other federal help, including prosecutors, judges, and rebuilding the city's jail. The president also explaining this morning how his Alaska sit-down will Russian President Vladimir Putin would go, saying he will call President Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine and the Europeans afterwards to tell them what kind of deal Russia is willing to make to end the killing in Ukraine.
If it's a fair deal, I'll reveal it to the European Union leaders and to the NATO leaders and also to President Zelensky. I think out of respect, I'll call him first, and then I'll call them after. And I may say, lots of luck, keep fighting, or I may say we can make a deal.
The president saying after that he expects either a meeting between Putin or Zelensky or one with himself included if they need him to join. An explosion at a U.S. steel plant near Pittsburgh leaves 1 dead and 2 people missing, potentially trapped under the rubble. Emergency workers on site trying to rescue them. Allegheny County Emergency Service saying an active fire at the plant started this morning. 5 people have been transported to hospitals. America is listening to Fox News.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe, and if you want to do business with a company that actually stands for something, switch to Pure Talk. I did. Sure, I appreciate being on America's most dependable 5G network with unlimited talk and text for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is Pure Talk's commitment to our military and to our skilled workforce. That matters to me. Save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
No real change in our weather pattern. There's a front just hanging and waving around, and that keeps us kind of typical summer. Partly sunny. It's kind of hot and humid. A couple of thunderstorms around, some with downpours and lightning. 93 for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy. A few thunderstorms here and there. It's warm and humid. 74. Tuesday, partly sunny, humid. Some scattered storms. 91. Do that again on Wednesday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If you need a new air conditioner installed this summer, call a company you can trust to install your AC properly. That will get your home cool and comfortable fast. For a free estimate on a new air conditioner, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
You know, I was reading some of the comments that were coming in. Our YouTube live chat poll for today. Have you experienced an outrageous power bill in the last 6 months? Yes or no? Really love getting your feedback on this. So join us on the Annie Fry YouTube channel and tell us what you think about this. But in the midst of these comments, I saw one tongue-in-cheek comment, not a Trump supporter by any means, and I don't remember who wrote it, but was talking about we had Brad Halbrook, who's an Illinois state representative, in the 107th district, talking about these crazy power bills that we have right now. And he was talking about, like, let's get on the nuclear train here. We got to get this going. And I'm saying to Halbrook, okay, A, will the Democrats do any of this? And B, does it help right now? The nuclear thing is like at minimum a 10-year play to where we could actually see benefits from it. So, can you be spending your money on power bills that are 40% higher than they usually are for 10 years? No, obviously not. But in the midst of that 10-year comment, I saw someone say, well, they should get that going by sometime during Donald Trump's fourth term. This is a common thing that people who can't stand Donald Trump, they want to talk about how Donald Trump is never going to leave office. He's a king. No kings, no kings. If Donald Trump were doing a terrible job, they would be talking about the terrible job that Donald Trump is doing. You know how Donald Trump ends up being in office for 4 years? I know that you think that he's going to just seize power. He's going to, game the whole system, manipulate everything so he never has to leave power. Folks, how sweet of you to point out exactly what the playbook of the Democratic left has been for I don't think we know how long. The full measure of how long Democrats have been cooking the books, maneuvering in the background to make things up so their political opponents don't have to fight with them about policy. When they determine what the argument is politically, for instance, in 2016 between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, that it's Russia. Donald Trump is meeting with Vladimir Putin in Alaska this week. Is it Friday? Off the top of my head? I felt like it was
this weekend.
Friday?
Yeah, this Friday.
In Alaska to discuss the possibility of a cessation of the war between Russia and Ukraine. He said today in his press conference today, Donald Trump said that after he took questions, somebody asked a question about that, and he said that the proposition that is on the table right now that looks like it might be workable is a land swap. Now, a land swap is not Zelensky. Give Russia the land that they want and let's stop killing each other. A land swap would have to be good for both sides. That's what President Trump, there would be good things for both sides. There would be bad things for both sides. The idea that somehow or another Donald Trump is going to be in office for a third term, for a fourth term, it's supposed to invoke in you some sort of like dictator king situation. But this all has to do with the fact that Donald Trump has been up against a system that's been rigged, that's been manipulated, that's been manufactured. He's never had to argue with the alternative political side of the aisle on policy because it's always on this manufactured nonsense. They try to put him up against the wall, and somehow he keeps on winning. Another instance where this has happened is in the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The numbers that we consume as taxpayers, as citizens, as voters, when it comes from the government, can you trust them? I'm excited to get our guest on. Steve Moore joins us once again, the distinguished fellow in economics at the Heritage Foundation, Trump economic advisor as well. Saw you at the White House, I believe it was, last week, Steve Moore. Is that correct?
Hi, Annie. Yep, I was there in the Oval Office with the president for an hour. It was an amazing out-of-body experience, but it was a lot of fun, and he's just knocking it out of the park on the economy.
Yeah, it really seems as though the winning it just begets more winning. And I wanted to give you an opportunity to comment because you have commented on this firing of the Bureau of Labor Statistics commissioner.
Yes.
They keep putting out these numbers, and these numbers are not reliable for civilians like me to understand. I'm wondering what you see when you look at a jobs report that comes out, adjustments made later on down the line in the news reports. What do you think about this firing?
Look, I said in that impromptu press conference we had in the Oval Office with the president that I think he did the right thing because, and not necessarily because I've never met the woman, okay, so I don't know anything about her personally or personal political views, but the numbers have gotten increasingly unreliable over the last several number of years, and when you have a 250,000 job correction, that's a big correction, and it's also true that when in Biden's last year in office, they overestimated the number of jobs created by about 1 million. That's a huge, huge miss. And so I think we need to we need accurate jobs numbers, right? I mean, I'm not saying they should be pro-Trump or anti-Trump or pro-Biden. I just want the real numbers, and we're not getting those. We're just not getting. They're not something that we can trust. And so we need to bring in someone new. I think that might be my good friend E.J. Antoni, who I've worked with for many years, to put out honest numbers. And I think we can get that done.
We're speaking with Steve Moore. We know that you've been advising President Trump on economics for years now, a long time. But what I hear you saying is we just want truth. We just want what real is. And then you can make smart policy decisions based on that real information.
Exactly.
And, we could go to Russia collusion. We could go to the Department of Labor, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and everything that is in between. How come every time something is manipulated or adjusted, it goes against Donald Trump?
Well, see, that's why Trump is suspicious because, in the last year in office, they, as I said, 1 million job overestimate. So they were telling the economy was better than it really was. Now, you can't fool all the people all the time. At some point, people realize the books are cooked. And so we're going to get somebody new in there. And by the way, we have the same problem, as you may know. We've talked about this in weeks past with the Census Bureau numbers that came out in 2020. Those were fixed. Did you know that?
No, I mean, it seems as though it wasn't fair.
They gave blue states 3 to 4 additional congressional seats based on the miscount. The Census Bureau even admits that they got it wrong.
Yeah. From the very people who put the census on, they have said this isn't accurate. I want to know from you, when you assess the president's 200 days in office and all of the things he's implemented. I know you're not a tariff guy. You've commented on how it does seem to be working in certain aspects. Your assessment right now of the tariff implementation from this administration.
I think the tariff implementation has been pretty good. I mean, look, I'm not a big tariff guy, but I think that Trump has done a very good job of getting deals that are very much in America's interest. Remember, a few months ago, the Europeans said, we'll never make a deal with Donald Trump. We're never going to negotiate with him. Well, they negotiated, and we got a very good deal with the Europeans. I think we're going to get a good deal with China. I think we're going to get a deal with Canada and Mexico. And what we're going to create is a level playing field. And who would be against that?
Yeah, certainly. I know we only got another minute with you. I shared a video on my X profile of you in the White House talking about the economy gained over 10 times more income for the average family than Joe Biden's. I am not feeling that in my personal expenditures yet, maybe at the gas pump, but in other places still waiting for prices to come down or to be more affordable. Is that going to happen soon?
Well, I don't think prices are going to come down on balance, but I think we're going to stabilize them. That's what we want, a stable price system so that, food 3 months from now doesn't cost more than it did today. What we saw every month Biden was in office, they went up and up and up and up and up and up and up until, food prices were up 28% in Biden's first term. We're going to stable prices, and we're going to get a lot of jobs. And I think people will feel really good about things. I mean, all the polls show people are feeling good about the direction of the economy. Stock market's at an all-time high. Trump is a businessman, and he knows how to create jobs, and he's doing it.
Yeah. Steve Moore, we appreciate your time. Great to see you at the White House. You had charts and everything. It was wonderful. Thank you for the time
Yeah.
again this afternoon.
Thanks, Annie.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Steve Moore is a distinguished fellow in economics at the Heritage Foundation, a Trump economic advisor, as is viewable by watching him stand there with President Trump in the very beautiful White House Oval Office. And it's the Declaration of Independence that he hung in there, right? Isn't that right? It's the Declaration behind the curtains?
Yes.
He's got the curtains open on the Declaration of Independence. And then there's Steve Moore and an easel and a chart talking about how President Trump's economy gained over 10 times more income for the average family than Joe Biden did. And they're only 7 months in. And I made the comment on this, and a lot of people keep talking about, like, everything still costs so gosh darn much. Of course, we're talking in the YouTube poll today. Have you experienced an outrageous power bill in the last 6 months? Yes or no? We want to know your anecdotes on that particular issue. But did you hear what Steve Moore just said there? He doesn't expect prices to come down. I don't think that your groceries are going to get any cheaper. But what they are trying to do is make it so they don't get any more expensive. And then, of course, on the other side, make your money work for you, make wages go up. Now, you're looking at your employer right now and going, did you hear that? You're supposed to up wages. I think that the American people are going to have to see growth in a specific way more than they're seeing it right now in order to really buy into what the president and Congress is doing with the big, beautiful bill. But I anticipate that those things will be happening in the next 12 months in a way that really does indicate that this economy, it was so messed up from the roots deep, the things that have to get straightened out. And the tariff, as Steve Moore says, he's not a tariff guy. As these trade deals get evened out across the board and the unprecedented amount of money coming in from these trade deals already into to American shores, I hope that they remember to benefit the American people on a granular level. And you can't do that conservatively, fiscally conservative, by making it rain stimulus checks. That causes the debt to go up. If you have $37 trillion in debt, in debt that's just continuously going up, you ever look at the debt clock down? It's really sad. How do the American people start to feel this at home? How do we get used to this new normal of prices? Joe Biden's inflation. Thank you to the Democrats on X who shared that chart. There's like, here's where Joe Biden went into office. And it just goes bloop, way up top. And prices start to level out with President Trump in there. Income is going to have to catch up to it for Americans to feel like we're in good times again. Morning in America, that type of stuff. All right, let's take a quick break here. We've got a lot coming up on the show. Jimmy Failla is going to be with us at 2:30. Is that right? So yeah. a very rare guest in the 2 o'clock hour, but Jimmy Failla is going to be with us. We haven't made the announcement yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
We haven't. Is it out there?
Well,
you don't have to say what it is.
The thing's happening in January.
Is it?
But that's.
We're going to talk about that later?
Yeah.
That's the best/worst tease in the history of radio, folks.
Sorry.
Lord have mercy. We should have worked that one out ahead of time. Jimmy Failla, regardless, 2:30 on the Annie Fry Show. Now you got to listen, right? We'll be right back.
Just real love.
Let's talk about Stewart's American Mortgage. I got a text message from Stewie last Friday, I think it was. He said rates are dropping. If you had one of those super high rates in the last couple years, you need to contact Stewie to make sure that you can seize upon rates as they lower, to lock in a lower mortgage rate. Gosh, the amount of money you can save when interest rates come down. Oh my gosh, the life of your loan, huge. You got a 30-year loan and you're paying an interest rate that's maybe a whole percentage or something higher than what they are right now. Get on the phone, text or call Stewie and ask about the bagel loan. But Annie, if I go to refinance and I got to pay all that money to get a lower rate, how long does it even take for me to actually save? No closing costs, folks. You go through this process, you don't have to write any checks. There's nothing there. You get the job done, you secure your lower rate, you give Stewie a high five and say, gosh, I'm glad I know you. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. You can Google the Bagel Loan for more information. NMLS number 226715.
Like I said before, tariffs had absolutely zero effect on our equipment pricing. No manufacturer raised their prices. What has affected the pricing is the previous 4 years of these ridiculous mandates. I mean, I say ridiculous, it's shameful. But that being said, if you're told that you need a new system, or your air conditioner is bad, or you're looking to replace your system, if you want a common sense approach which works for you, your family, and your budget. When I say your budget, it never is what you want it to be on this equipment, but common sense approach, 15-20 minutes of your time, and explain to you your options. No Kool-Aid being handed out. I'm Bart Inman. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I. The easiest way to get a hold of me with the easiest number, Missouri and Illinois, there's only one, 314-293-2600. Remember, 0% financing is available for most up to 60 months. Fantastic deal. God bless.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Have you experienced an outrageous power bill in the last 6 months? Yes or no? That's today's YouTube live chat poll. We were talking about it in the first hour and talked to Brad Halbrook, Illinois State Representative for the 107th, about this in Illinois. So regardless of whether you live in Illinois or Missouri, we'd like to hear from you on this topic. It is 1:20. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Range. It's the Annie Fry Show.
Brother Pelle's in the back, sweet singers in the front. Down the freeway in the hot.
Every major group that grades the fairness of congressional maps gives your state an F. Common Cause, a nonpartisan government watchdog, even says your map, and I'm going to quote, represents a nearly perfect model for everything that can go wrong with redistricting. And I guess the question is, you talk about preserving democracy. How do you preserve democracy if you're using the same tactics that you've criticized Texas Republicans for?
But as I say, what they're talking about is a distraction. The reality is that the violation of people's voting rights is what Texas is attempting to do. That's what's wrong with their efforts right now. And the fact that the president of the United States knows it and nevertheless is asking them to do it. That is what's wrong with what we're seeing right now. Democracy is at stake.
Oh my gosh, you didn't answer her question at all. Her whole question is, the idea of gerrymandering, Governor Pritzker, seems to be pretty disenfranchising, and you're coming to Texas for trying to implement this type of thing. And when you look at your state, you've done it to the extreme. And even people who are kind of on your side are going, oh, you might want to sit this one out. And he ends with, that's a distraction. The reality is people's voting rights and democracy are at stake. When they don't answer the question, that's an answer to the question. He knows what they're doing, and he's okay that they're doing it, and he's okay at the same time simultaneously shaking fists at the sky going, no, not the Republicans, that's our game.
I hate to say it, but people who are really good at doing that avoiding a question, you don't really notice by the end of the answer that they've avoided it. And you noticed when he avoids a question every single time because he's not very good at it. He didn't even use his own talking point that, well, it's because of mid-decade. That is a difference. And he didn't even use that. He just said something about voting rights and nobody knows what he's talking about.
Just because you gerrymander on a predictable scale doesn't mean that gerrymandering should be an okay thing to do. But that was, as you point out, Ryan, what he said on Colbert.
I do want to look at the map of Illinois. Let's take a look at this. Despite President Trump winning 44% of the statewide vote in 2024, Republicans hold only 3 of Illinois' 17 districts. These districts seem to be designed to maximize Democratic advantage. What do you say to those who argue that it's hypocritical for you to criticize Texas for partisanship when your state also drew maps to boost your party's standing?
Well, remember that what Texas is trying to do is, again, violate the Voting Rights Act. We didn't. We held public hearings, legislative hearings.
He's just like, remember the Alamo!
Well, Trump.
People attended them. They spoke out.
Yeah, they sued,
there was a map
you.
that was put out. There were actually changes made to the map, and a map was passed.
I do want to look.
Changes were made and a map was passed. What does that even mean? You sound like a 15-year-old who broke curfew.
Decisions were made.
People did things, but I'm here.
Alcohol may have been drank
by people.
Using this weird passive voice like he had nothing to do with it.
Some of them didn't even use cups. Can you believe that? The reality is I'm home, and I'm home safe.
Right, yeah. The reality is we're here now, and I want that to be the focus, that we're all okay.
I love this. This is great for the future of Illinois. King Pritzker is looking to run for a 3rd term. He is going to be the guy who wants to run again. While we have people on our chat very frustrated that Lord Trump is going to be serving his 4th term as a president of the United States. Meanwhile, in reality, in the world that you can touch and feel right now, J.B. Pritzker's running for term number 3 because in the state of Illinois, we don't have term limits. So people like J.B. Pritzker can stay in power forever, constitutionally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he will have been in office longer than the king he's protesting. I don't know if anybody's pointed that one out yet.
I regularly. Man, this guy.
It's bad. And too, when they're doing media about it, I've seen crossover media. When the Democrats go on Fox News, they're panicking. They're like, well, we got to reach out to somebody. I saw Kathy Hochul doing Fox News this weekend. J.B. Pritzker's out there. No, everybody knows he's not the guy to carry the message, and yet they need people out there rallying against this because they know they're losing.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it because J.B. Pritzker sucks at this.
He is. He's so bad.
You're so bad at this. You're not good at this. You're speaking. You're preaching to the choir. Folks, those clips that we played, NBC News, Meet the Press, Kristen Welker, one of the moderators, one of the hack job moderators in the presidential debate where Donald Trump won the debate and subsequently the presidential election. Far be it from them to have tried any harder to keep him from being able to win the election from a press standpoint. Pritzker, you can't go into more friendly confines than a Meet the Press interview. And the host, to her credit, I guess, I gave Colbert credit for being like, let's look at this map. Whoosh, she puts it up on the screen. And then he points out some really ridiculous districts that the Illinois legislature has drawn. And so far from Pritzker, we have jokes and deflection, which means this is great news, folks. He doesn't have a good answer for it. He can't actually defend what he's doing. He can deflect and try. That's the wild thing here. When he's asked that question by Welker, he deflects and tries to make Texas defend what he did because he can't. Because he thinks that the argument is so obvious that what Texas is doing is wrong, that he thinks he should present it to the American people and say, Texas can't defend this. You know what they're doing is wrong. I know what they're doing is wrong. Texas can't defend this. And Welker and Colbert are like, can you defend it? And he's got jokes and deflection. The answer is no. Remember, every non-answer is a choice to not answer. And if you had a better answer, a better response, a better defense, you would provide that at that point, at that opportunity. You go on Colbert. You go on Meet the Press to get asked hard questions that you then get to speak on in a safe environment. You get to put your best argument forward there and not really get pushed and challenged on it. That's why you do that. That's why you welcome, air quotes, tough questions in friendly environments, because you get to address things that people are discussing en masse. You get to address those things in a public setting, and then you get to say stupid things that politicians say, like, I think I've been clear on this, over and over and over again, which was the entire binder of the Joe Biden administration. We've been very clear on this. We've been clear-eyed on this. Yada, yada, yada. You haven't been clear on anything other than the fact that you will not actually provide defenses for the things that you're doing. You provide deflection. That non-answer of a question is a great answer to the people who are looking to the big issue that the Democrats are trying to make in Texas and saying, well, can you defend the reason you're not showing up to provide flood relief for the people in Texas who lost everything in that flood that took up all the lives of those children, among others? And the answer is, I'd like you to speak to our agent, J.B. Pritzker, and he's like making jokes about stuff and not answering the question. They don't have a defense for it. It's all politics. It's all a power grab. I would also say that it is way more within the rights. Nobody's really talking about this yet. J.B. Pritzker is doing such a terrible job at defending the housing of these fleeing Texas Democrats from doing their job. Nobody's actually talking about if Texas and Illinois are in fact doing the same thing. People aren't saying that what Texas is doing is okay. But when J.B. Pritzker is a spokesperson for the alternative, people are asking J.B. Pritzker, before we get to what Texas is doing, you kind of seem to be doing the very thing that you're criticizing them for. Can you defend that? And it's so egregious. He's handling this so poorly that nobody actually gets to a thoughtful conversation about what Texas is looking to do here. Texas maps were drawn off of a self-critiqued census debacle that doesn't reflect the people, the voters, the citizens of Texas. It doesn't reflect the people there. And the census has come out and said, we didn't do this well. We had a lot of problems with this. Self-own in that instance. But we do have evidence of how the people of Texas actually vote, because they did it in 2024. So we have an admission of a failure of duty with the Census Bureau coming out of COVID in the 2021 census. And we have an actual measurement, a real live specific poll of the people of Texas that suggests that the current maps are not reflective of the people of that state. And you have people well within their authority in the state legislature wanting to do something about it. Those are all much better reasons than J.B. Pritzker's response is, oh, we had a kindergartner draw that map, which is what he said on Colbert. And everyone's like, Why do the people of Colbert, why do the people of Kimmel, why do they always maniacally cheer when these super far leftist progressives do their monologues and say things? They cheer. They don't laugh. They cheer. It's because it's a rally, not a comedy show. And that's why they get canceled.
I think it might have been Norm Macdonald. There's somebody of great comedic success said recently, well, not recently.
I was going to say, that wasn't Norm Macdonald.
But it was within the last 10 years. They said, good comedians make people laugh.
Yes.
Bad comedians make people clap.
Yes. Very, very.
That's a big difference.
Important quote and comment. Just to say, I mean, maybe that's for you. Gutfeld might make people clap.
Sure.
Does he also make people laugh? Do his guests also make people laugh? It could go both ways. But people are actually watching one of them.
Yes. Fallon realizes that.
Apparently so. All right, quick break. Morning Fry Show. When we come around the corner, we're going to give you some of your responses on your power bills. Have they been outrageously high? We want to know, Missouri, Illinois alike, if they've gone up. Also tell us, you don't tell us like your home address, but give us a zip code or a county or something like that. We'd like to know where these bills are getting out of control. We talked with Illinois State Representative Brad Halbrook, who gave us some insight in the state of Illinois why that might be the case. We're trying to get to the bottom of it. We'll be right back.
Funky, how bizarre. How bizarre, how bizarre. Ooh, baby.
Home Shield Foundation Repairs.com. If you want to reach out to Matt Hayes to address the broken, cracked, uneven concrete at your house, at your business, I'll give you the number here in just a second. Get your phone out and you can pipe this number in there and reach out to Home Shield Foundation Repair to get this safety hazard addressed. They use a system called polyjacking, which takes a polyurethane foam, puts it underneath the concrete, raises it up, levels it out, makes it safe once again. You'll be grateful for this cost-effective way to handle this problem that is probably growing worse over time. It can certainly be a huge problem if it has reached into your garage, if your garage has cracks in the concrete, if it starts to unlevel, if it's settling in a certain way. It could be a problem that ends up being a lot worse than it is right now. And if it's your garage, of course, you can think of all of the ways in which that might end up costing a lot more down the road. If you've got questions, have Matt Hayes or his team come out, assess the situation, and give you an explanation of how they can help you. 314-227-9636. 314-227-9636. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort, offering small ship experiences with a shore excursion included in every port and programs designed for cultural enrichment. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholt of Kaufman Townsley. We've won the trust of thousands of clients who are victims of careless drivers. We have the team, the talent, and the tenacity to get you the money you deserve. Call 314-500-5000. That's 314-500-5000.
Calling all future sportscasters. Sharpen your skills and learn from the best of the Missouri Broadcasters Association Sportscasters Forum, Tuesday, September 16th in St. Louis. Join Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and the legendary John Rooney, the voice of the Cardinals, for insider sessions on play-by-play, interviewing, reporting, and more. Then cap the day with a Cards-Reds game at Busch Stadium. Open to college students and broadcasting pros. Just $10 for students, lunch, and a game ticket. Space is limited. Register by September 2nd at Missouri Broadcasters.
Are you nearing retirement and don't know if you have enough money saved to retire? That is scary. Do you have a written retirement financial plan in place? Well, when it comes to retirement planning, the trusted team at Financial and Tax Architects are the best. They've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence. And that's what you want. You want to retire with confidence. Now, they offer a one-night, 2.5-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. They hold these at colleges over the St. Louis area and in Illinois. No cost, no obligation, just learning. And at this class, you learn how to avoid costly mistakes, how to maximize your income, how to reduce taxes in retirement. So call them today, 314-888-5101, or visit fta-ria.com and take the first step toward a smarter retirement. 314-888-5101.
Still leading 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
The YouTube poll, have you experienced an outrageous power bill in the last 6 months? Where I'm seeing the most of this chatter about is Facebook with like real people that I know. I don't know if I've seen a ton of news coverage on this quite yet.
It was such a massive increase that I started looking up news on the subject because it wasn't something that we were talking about on the radio. It was something that just hit me personally.
Yeah.
And then I went, oh my gosh.
Like, did I do something?
Yeah, what did I do?
Yeah.
And so I looked at past bills and I'm like, oh no, the cost just jumped. I think it was June.
Which is even worse because it's like, I can't do something to fix this.
Yeah, it's worse. Yeah, exactly. Because you feel like, oh, did I Did I leave something running? Did
I
the
leave
door
my
open?
microwave running for
Right.
30 days?
Did I only wash clothes in the dryer?
Bill said my Ameren bill from May 8th to June 7th was $76.28. My bill from June 7th to July 10th was $197.46. I was out of the country from June 4th to June 17th. So you were out of the country for 2 months, and it more than doubled, almost tripled.
You said your bill went up 45%.
I need to do the actual math, but we usually are somewhere in the high 200s. It's gas and electric.
Well, that's pretty good.
I have it's a little bit less than a 3,000 square foot home. We do run the AC cold at night because it helps baby sleep. But we've always done that.
Mm-hmm.
I anticipate in the June, July, or maybe the July, August months that it's going to be a little bit higher. Maybe every once in a while it would dip into the 400s. It was $675.
That's crazy.
I don't know what I'm going to do if I have to do this month to month to month. You know, I'm raising 4 kids. I'm working my tail off to make ends meet, to provide a life that is within our means. I can't do a $700 power bill every month. I just can't do that. That's like, I don't even know how to put into words. And I know that, like, I'm in a position where if I can pull a little bit out of savings or something to cover that, okay. But, like, that's supposed to be in my savings. My savings is not supposed to be for power bills. It's supposed to be for, I picked up a nail on the way home and now I got to get 4 new tires because they said that all the tires are bald, and now I've got $800 in savings that I'm going to be able to pull out, put tires on my car, and keep my kids safe that way. Or, you know, the air conditioner actually stops working and I need to have some maintenance done on that. I have a new AC unit in my house as of a few years ago. I have Air Comfort Service has done the AeroSeal duct sealing in my home, which makes it so that there isn't air leaking out through the ventilation. It doesn't run more than it needs to. We haven't changed any of our habits. I expect it to go up in the heat of the summer. But we did not utilize a 40% increase of power in our home in a month. And I'm terrified about what the next bill is going to be.
The research that I did on this, it's all over the place, though, because we talked to Representative Halbrook, and he was talking about kind of the bigger picture issues. And then I read over the weekend when I was looking at it, actually it was last weekend, that Ameren had jacked the rates up from like 8, I'm going to get the words wrong, but it's 8 kilowatts.
Just say gigawatts.
Or gigawatts. There we go.
Just say gigawatts. Then everybody will know we mean business.
Yeah, 8 gigawatts. And
is your flux capacitor fluxing?
It was from 8 to 12. And I looked at it on my bill and it was 12. So that's a huge jump.
Yeah.
For supply of power.
Is that 40% increase?
I started calling around to look at different suppliers and found one that was down near 10. And so I switched over immediately. But then I'm looking at an article here from KSDK that says that Ameren is saying, oh, no, it's going to go back down October 1st.
I don't want this. I don't want it to be. I don't want this to be a situation where, like, yeah, it's high now, but it'll go back down.
Oh, thank you.
There is a problem.
Yeah.
How do you, if you're living on a fixed income, handle this?
And they're quoting a lady from O'Fallon, Illinois here, Brad, that says that her bill went up from about $800 to $900 a month to $1,800 last month. And they also, there's a bunch of people going, Ameren's laughing all the way to the bank this summer. Why this summer? Why would we allow this? I don't even know if it's true. It's just there's these random things that people are saying. But this is from KSDK.
Sorry, Robert said, my bill tripled in 1 month. It didn't get much hotter. No, it's been hot all summer. Chris says on the poll, not outrageous, but it was up about 30 more than it normally is in a hot month. 30%, $30? I mean,
30% probably.
Well, we could infer, but that's not what he said specifically. I just wonder, sometimes I saw someone else say that they let's see here. Dale said, no, I didn't. I did see the rate increase, but it was not outrageous, especially with the temps and my air set at 73. We have our house set at 74 in the home, aside from about midnight till 7 or 8 a.m., we put it on 67, which is cool. But the daytime, and it's on a schedule, like it just does that. I don't know how this is going to change. You can't take taxpayer money that the government doesn't have and like subsidize all of this. That's not a workable solution. If it is like Representative Halbrook said earlier in the show, Illinois state rep that joined us to talk about this, if this is a regulatory measure that makes it so that we don't have as much energy production to go around for all the people to utilize, and that's just simply supply and demand, then we have a huge problem. On top of that, I will add, when I was speaking with some people who worked with the Home Builders Association maybe a year or two ago, they were talking about how the Illinois state legislature was going to mandate that for every garage vehicle bay that you had to have an outlet installed in the home. Like for any new construction that you have to, I don't even know if that might have ended up passing. And the Home Builders Association was like, we don't have the power grid to support people plugging in their cars all over the place. And they told me that there was a neighborhood, not a huge neighborhood, the neighborhood that was built that they had the neighborhood installed these as a measure of the nicer neighborhood being built there. They thought this is probably a place where people have these charges. They had to send out in the HOA, they had to send out a notification about people like charging on a schedule, and they were having brownouts in the area because so many people were charging their cars. And the Home Builders Association guy goes to a legislator, we can abide by this and put these in, but our grid cannot handle this. And the person he was talking to, who was I think one of the sponsors of the bill, was like, well, we haven't thought it that far ahead yet, but we need to start getting these requirements, regulations in home builds now so that it's there when people need them. And all it was a green energy push and a political promise that they could make without any sort of actual understanding of what would be required to implement it. And those same regulations, it sounds like from what Brad Halbrook was saying, those type of regulations are what are putting at least Illinoisans in a position where there isn't enough energy to go around, especially in a hot summer. It's not like the legislature couldn't have been like, it gets kind of hot and cooking here in the Midwest in the summer. Can we handle this? I don't even think they're thinking those thoughts. And now you're footing the bill. We'll be right back. Michael's Flooring Outlet on igotfloored.com. The beautiful, beautiful, beautiful renovations that you can do with flooring just bring your home space back to life. And this is just such I don't know, this is a stupid thing to say, but I just love the smell of new flooring in a home. It just smells so fresh and new. It's like when you get in your new car. I mean, obviously the coolest thing about a new car is the car, but I'm like, but it smells so good. Same thing with flooring in your new home. It's going to transform and bring everything back to life with your vision. And you want to go to Michael's Flooring Outlet so that you can secure with that brand new, fresh experience that you're going to have in your home or your business, that you get great quality products with a great value at the same time. And you're working with amazing people. A family-owned and operated business here for 3+ decades in the St. Louis area. Michael's Flooring Outlet has the brands you trust, like the Mohawk brands, that line of flooring you can rely on. It's going to stand the test of time. You get paired with the product that gives you the aesthetic you're looking for, but also the quality that you need to make your hard-earned dollar work for you. They have 3 locations across St. Louis, but they're online right now at igotfloored.com.
97.1 FM Talk presents Talk in Action, where we shine a spotlight on local charities making a difference in our community. Join us as we give back and connect neighbors in need. Visit 971talk.com/talkinaction to learn more.
Men, need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
Hey, it's
it's Mark Reardon with news for listeners who, like me, want to learn more about Bitcoin. Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club is coming to St. Louis later this summer. The Bitcoin Ben Crypto Clubs teach members what Bitcoin is, how to buy it, how to safely store it, and how to avoid scams. And we'll connect with others like us who want to learn more about crypto. St. Louis will be the 7th club nationwide and Ben's hometown. If you want to know more about Bitcoin, you need to know Bitcoin Ben. Learn more at bitcoinben.io. That's bitcoinben.io.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Attention St. Louis Medicaid residents in need of care at home. If you need assistance with daily activities, you can receive in-home care from a loved one that lives with you and they get paid. Through Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care at home in St. Louis, and they get paid weekly. Available to eligible Medicaid members in St. Louis. Call now to check your eligibility. It can be your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid. Freedom Care has over 7,000 five-star Google reviews and is a leading choice in St. Louis for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want to receive great care from a loved one, go to freedomcare.com, or for faster service, call 314-597-1749. 314-597-1749. That's 314-597-1749.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
Rooted in faith, grounded in family. This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. You know what the song is called?
Smoke on the Water.
That's exactly right. Spirit in the Sky. What's the Green Onions one?
Oh, yeah, Green Onion.
It's kind of the same type of a vibe. I don't. I can't.
Is it Bee Bumble?
It's
And then the song is called Green Onion?
Maybe, but it doesn't have any words.
I think that's what it is.
Dun, 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 dun,
Green-
dun, 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 dun,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's
dun,
Green
dun,
Onion
dun,
by
dun,
Booker
dun,
T and
Booker
the
T and
MGs.
yes, I know that just from having it in my playlist. Nobody. Why is it called Green Onions?
I have no idea. You want me to find out?
No. I dare ask this question: is Donald Trump becoming popular in places where he wasn't prior to like this point in time? Like, have people come around to Donald Trump when the Russia stuff gets exposed? I think the most beneficial thing, outside of rooting out all the deep staters, all the swamp goats, if Donald Trump becomes on the whole culturally acceptable by not just like the MAGA people, but just people are like, you know what, Donald Trump was actually really great for this country. That to me is the America First mentality that stretches out past, I don't know, Donald Trump's fourth term, Donald Trump's 2028. If people are able to shift on the understanding that not only is Donald Trump better for America right now, and, you know, we're living it, we understand it, we appreciate it, but maybe, Donald Trump is going to be considered one of the most historically important figures in American history because of the success that he's having right now that he'll have to extend through his full 4 years in office. But to look at what the evildoers tried to do to keep him from getting into office, the resilience that he had, he said in the press conference today, he was talking about, I think it was trade deals or something. And he's like, listen, folks, when I say that I'm going to get this and I'm going to get that, he said specifically, I'm not talking about me. He said, and I quote, I don't care about me. I care about the American people. That is an unthinkable concept for a portion of Americans right now because they believe, truly believe, that all Donald Trump cares about is himself. They think that everything he does is for himself. And he is saying out loud, I don't care about me. I care about the American people. But if you don't listen to what he says and you watch what he does, he proves it, that what he's saying is real. And if culture shifts to finally appreciate not just what he's doing, but his resilience to get to the place in 2025, 6, 7, 8, where he's actually doing the job, I think he goes down as one of the most culturally, politically, historically significant humans in American history.
I do too. And I think that's why so many people are willing to get on board, is because they know that. It's weird, though, because you can tell that the middle gets a little scared of him. The middle gets a little scared. They might have voted for him, but they get a little shaky because he moves so fast. And he makes it feel chaotic. I just think that that's not happening as much this time because you already knew what you were getting. You voted for him in 2016, or maybe you didn't, but you did this time. So you knew what he was like. So it shouldn't be a surprise that you're going through this. But I do think that people who are not maybe politically engaged or know what's on the line, who they might be, sympathetic to Donald Trump, maybe they're not MAGA, but they're like, I kind of get it. I kind of get some of the things that he does. I think they fall off the quickest because they just know it's kind of chaotic.
If you want to know about how the world, this is Israel. I'm gonna put this out there so understand it's our greatest ally. They have a Dancing with the Stars or Dance with the Stars or whatever. Did you see this?
No, I don't even know what this is.
One of the pairs on Dance with the Stars in Israel television show dressed up as Donald Trump and Melania Trump for their performance. And the stage is set, Donald Trump in his navy suit, red tie, Melania in her inauguration day outfit, American flags down the side, and they're standing at a presidential podium. And now the YMCA kicks in. He rips off her dress and she's wearing like a dance costume in American Stars and Stripes. And they're dancing to the YMCA on Dance with the Stars.
This does not look like it's in any nation other than America.
No.
This looks like an American kind of parody dance. Wow. There's flags everywhere.
We're sharing this on our YouTube stream. I'm going to retweet it right now, right when we go to a break. But, to me, this matters. It's one thing obviously for Israel to be like, we're really super grateful for the United States and everything that they've done. But to have Donald Trump and Melania Trump be characters that you assume in an entertainment show competition, dance competition, there's got to be something about this that speaks culturally to what we're doing. I just think it's great. All right, thanks for sticking with us here. We got Jimmy Failla in the next hour. Can't wait to have him on the show, and a little bit of an announcement coming up as well. Don't go away.
1 in 4 people surveyed by Bankrate.com say they're literally losing sleep because of worries that they may have not saved enough to retire. If you're ready to get serious about planning for your financial future, you could start by listening to the All Financial Hour with host Steve All of the All Financial Group.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different. If you want assistance, we can also help you at that point.
Tune in to the All Financial Hour with Steve All, Saturday mornings at 6, right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Let's just face it, right? Your home should work for you, not against you. Hi, it's Kim, and if you've been dreaming of a new kitchen, bathroom, or a finished basement, now's the time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design. They're St. Louis's trusted experts in turning houses into dream homes. Just imagine this, a spa-like bathroom, maybe a chef-inspired kitchen, Or how about a cozy basement perfect for some movie nights? Their team handles everything from design to installation so you can just sit back and enjoy the process. Visit lakesidearty.com today to start your dream renovation.
The Diamond Shop, online at thediamondshop.net. Please consider shopping at the Diamond Shop in Clayton right now because they've got a great clearance event going for you. It's wrapping up shortly. August 16th is the last day. So you've been hearing me, I've been talking about this for a little bit, talk about this red tag clearance event at the Diamond Shop. You need to hurry up and get in there. You'll be glad you did. First of all, you go in there. If you're looking for something specific, just let them know right away. And they'll show you something that might work in various budget forms, but budgets that you have, right? You go in there, they're going to treat you with respect. It doesn't matter how big your budget is. They want to earn you as a customer for life, and they will work very hard to make that happen. But they also have these events where if you're thinking about getting something nice for somebody for Christmas, folks, it's the middle of August. It's not too early to be thinking about that. You can save up to 70% off their red tag clearance, and you can add an extra 10% on top of that when you become a VIP. Visit them in Clayton, but before you do, sign up for VIP status online at thediamondshop.net.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Where do you go for your annual eye health examination? Ophthalmology Associates, of course. Doctors Greg Birdie and Ranjan Malhotra. Dr. Robert Bersati, he's the one I saw. Or Dr. Andrew Royer. They are available to you and are there to take care of all your vision needs at Ophthalmology Associates. They're on Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270. Your vision is their business at Ophthalmology Associates. In fact, many of their patients are doctors themselves. That's why they call themselves the doctors, Ophthalmology Associates. Are your eyes itchy and scratchy? It could be more than just allergies. They're the leaders in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. They're the leaders in LASIK and discussing those procedures. And if you're having difficulty reading or driving at night, you have glare from oncoming headlights, could be early signs of cataracts, and they can talk to you about multifocal lens implants. Ophthalmology Associates, youridoc.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Dealing with crime in the district. I'm John Saucier, Fox News. President Trump says he plans to put D.C. police under federal control and deploy the National Guard to fight crime in the nation's capital. Speaking today at the White House, the president explained other cities will be watching to see how he cleans up Washington and how he hopes they'll learn their lesson from his attempts to stop crime in D.C.
Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged-out maniacs and homeless people. And we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it.
The president said he'd look in New York City and Chicago after Washington. Many states have eliminated cash bail, arguing it discriminates against poorer defendants and actually does not improve public safety. President Trump also measuring expectations for his meeting with Russia's president later this week. Here's Fox's Jared Halpern with more from the White House.
When the two leaders meet in Alaska on Friday, President Trump says he'll tell Russian President Vladimir Putin to end the war in Ukraine.
This is really a feel-out meeting, a little bit.
President Trump concedes he's been disappointed by Putin in the past.
I'm going to go and see the parameters. Now, I may leave and say, good luck, and that'll be the end. I may say this is not going to be settled.
The president says he'll hold calls with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and European leaders following his meeting with Putin. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
We've learned that the transcripts of the secret grand jury testimony that led to the sex trafficking indictment of Jeffrey Epstein's former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, not going to be released. The judge made the ruling today, saying the government's suggestion they'd reveal new information about the crimes was demonstrably false. Judge Paul A. Engelmeyer saying in a written decision, the government had proposed releasing grand jury materials casually or promiscuously, jeopardizing the tradition of grand jury secrecy that protects the confidence of those called to testify before future grand juries. America's listening to Fox News.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe, and if you want to do business with a company that actually stands for something, switch to Pure Talk. I did. Sure, I appreciate being on America's most dependable 5G network with unlimited talk and text for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is Pure Talk's commitment to our military and to our skilled workforce. That matters to me. Save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
No real change in our weather pattern. There's a front just hanging and waving around, and that keeps us kind of typical summer. Partly sunny. It's kind of hot and humid. A couple of thunderstorms around, some with downpours and lightning. 93 for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy. A few thunderstorms here and there. It's warm. It's humid. 74. Tuesday, partly sunny, humid. Some scattered storms. 91. Do that again on Wednesday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 56 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance and installation, and heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. AirComfortService.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
We didn't talk a lot about the Gutfeld appearance on Jimmy Fallon last week. You and I talked about it a little bit off air, Ryan. But the one comment I did make, first and foremost, before I get to my thoughts on it, the fact that Jimmy Fallon had Greg Gutfeld on his show is still kind of wild to me.
It's a huge step, and it's deliberate. It's sending a message.
But I mean, it's even in they're not on at the same time. Gutfeld is an hour earlier than
he's 9
our time.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Fallon is 10:35. It's like basically after the 10 o'clock news. So it's not a direct competitor, right?
No, it's not.
Can you cue this up from the beginning so we can hear what she says? So to have Greg Gutfeld on is not it's not like you're promoting your direct competitor, but it still kind of is. So I'm not 100% sure that I understand why The Tonight Show did that. Because some people will say, like, he could not. Greg Gutfeld's the biggest thing in late night TV. But he is an hour earlier.
I really think he's trying to take share from Gutfeld. Not necessarily directly, like you're saying, because they're not on at the same time.
But a handoff.
But he's trying to say, look, if you're watching Gutfeld, come to me next.
You will feel safe being here.
Yes, you're not going to be ostracized here.
That's a culture shift.
Yeah, it is.
It's a bold move. And, like, do you want Jimmy Fallon to not make fun of Donald Trump?
No, I don't care.
I want him to make really great jokes about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I want to hear him do Donald Trump jokes that are really funny. I am super capable of listening to Jimmy Fallon pick apart funny things about Donald Trump. There are so many funny things about Donald Trump. Donald Trump knows that. He's created a character. Totally okay with that. But I also want to see the antithesis of that. And I'm trying to think right now who is the opposition to Donald Trump. I don't think he has a political rival. The Chuck Schumers of the world, nobody gives a crap about Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer doesn't speak for anyone. Nancy Pelosi, every time I see her, I'm like, she is really showing her age. She's not as quick and smart as she used to be in presentation. She might still have a firm grip on the party. But, like, who is the opposition to Donald Trump? And I can't help but think that the only true opposition he has, the people keeping the antithesis of Donald Trump alive, are the people like the Kimmels of the world, the Colberts of the world, that seek and serve to exist for the sake of those people who eat, sleep, and breathe Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
Those are the people who are Jimmy Fallon's competition.
Yep.
It's almost like a like a three-way trade where you have Jimmy Fallon essentially platforming Greg Gutfeld, as you said, as a wink and a nod to the people who are tuning in to Greg Gutfeld. Here, I'm going to, while we're talking here, and we're going to get to Muriel Bowser here in just a second. The Washington, D.C. mayor is commenting on President Trump's announcement from earlier this morning. Real quick, Ryan, I want you to pull up Jimmy Fallon, The Tonight Show's YouTube page, and compare the views on YouTube of the Greg Gutfeld interview with other guests that he's had here recently. Okay. I was doing that this weekend, and it's pretty wild. Let's hear a real quick cut to Muriel Bowser. She is the Washington, D.C. mayor. She is commenting right now after...
and then we'll be able to take a few questions. So let me start by saying this. Washington, D.C. is a beautiful city, magnificent city. We're home to 700,000 Washingtonians. We welcome millions of visitors every year from around our nation and around the world. We have the nation's premier park system, fantastic public schools, including a free and robust pre-K program starting at age 3. We have a tremendous public transportation system, and we have hardworking people here who are raising families, starting businesses, and hiring workers. So it's very important to me that for all who live here and visit here, just know how beautiful our city is and how proud we are of all that we've accomplished here. We're unique in other ways as well. Though we pay taxes, in fact, we pay more than most states per capita. We're not a state. We don't control the DC National Guard. We don't have senators or full autonomy. Limited home rule gives the federal government the ability to intrude on our autonomy in many ways. I've said before, and I'll repeat, that I believe that the president's view of D.C. is shaped by his COVID-era experience during his first term. And it is true that those were more challenging times related to some issues. It is also true that we experienced a crime spike post-COVID, but we worked quickly to put laws in place and tactics that got violent offenders off our streets and gave our police officers more tools, which is why we have seen a huge decrease in crime because of those efforts. We have been able to reverse that 2023 crime spike. This year, crime isn't just down from 2023, it's also down from 2019, before the pandemic, and we're at a 30-year violent crime low. We're not satisfied. We haven't taken our foot off the gas, and we continue to look for ways to make our city safer. We know, however, as most have heard from the president's press conference, that he has prerogatives in D.C. unlike anywhere else in the country, including his authority given by our home rule charter to require the mayor, to require me, to supply services of the Metropolitan Police Department. And he also has control and the ability to deploy the National Guard. But let me be clear, as our home rule charter is also clear, and the president's executive order restates. Chief Pamela Smith is the chief of the Metropolitan Police Department, and its 3,100 members work under her direction. The Home Rule Charter requires the mayor to provide the services of MPD during special conditions of an emergency, and we will follow the law. Though there's a question about the subjectivity of that declaration. In fact, the chief has already provided a high-level liaison and point of contact with the federal government and made those initial contacts. The executive order is also clear that the president has delegated his authority to make requests of us to Attorney General Pam Bondi. I have reached out to Attorney General Bondi and hope to schedule a meeting soon. My message to residents is this. We know that access to our democracy is tenuous. That is why you have heard me and many Washingtonians before me advocate for full statehood for the District of Columbia. We are American citizens. Our families go to war. We pay taxes and we uphold the responsibilities of citizenship. And while this action today is unsettling and unprecedented, I can't say that given some of the rhetoric of the past, that we're totally surprised. I can say to DC residents that we will continue to operate our government in a way that makes you proud. We will balance our budgets. We will deploy our services. Our kids are going to start school on August 25th. And we will work with the federal government to do the things that they should do for our city, including making sure that we have the judges that we need, including making sure that all federal parks are supported, not just with law enforcement, but with other clean and safe activities, and including making sure that our economy is supported by rational federal actions as it relates to the federal workforce, federal workers, and federal property in the District of Columbia. So with that, I want to ask Chief Smith to talk.
So there you were listening to Mayor Bowser of Washington, D.C., talking about the bottom line here, statehood. Her response to come out here is like, all right, so, we've been working hard on making this a better situation in Washington, D.C., but really, if we were a state, this wouldn't be the case. So again, Donald Trump is the problem. Here's President Trump earlier today regarding the very crime problems that exist in D.C.
The murder rate in Washington today is higher than that of Bogota, Colombia, Mexico City, some of the places that you hear about as being the worst places on earth, much higher. This is much higher. The number of car thefts has doubled over the past 5 years, and the number of carjackings has more than tripled. Murders in 2023 reached the highest rate probably ever. They say 25 years, but they don't know what that means because it just goes back 25 years. Can't be worse. Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged out maniacs and homeless people. And we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it.
President Trump speaking from the White House press briefing room to a room full of reporters and a stage that Kash Patel was there, Pete Hegseth was there, Pam Bondi was there, Will Scharf was there, all the main players right there alongside President Donald Trump, taking over control and enforcing law and order in the streets of Washington, D.C. This is really one of those, and for me, it's a wait and see what happens. It's either going to work or it's not. We're going to have actual measurable information about the enforcement of law and order. And in the meantime, it appears as though, based on the remarks from Mayor Bowser there, that the takeaway from the left here is D.C. should be a state, and this never would happen. We would never have the ability to let Donald Trump just step in the way he does because we're a district. Time for D.C. to be a state. I guess a smart political play, but if you lose big on the crime numbers here going forward, you're going to look even dumber than you already do.
Yes, this is all on record, so we all can look back at this moment and say, oh, okay, how did it go from there? And I just can't imagine that the crime numbers are going to get worse after this. They're obviously going to get better. It's just a matter of how much.
All right, let's take a quick break. Morning Fry Show around the corner. Jimmy Failla is going to join us in about, 13 minutes. Stick around. We got a cool announcement with Jimmy Failla at 2:30. Don't go away.
I'm cold and I am shamed, lying naked on something real. Wide awake and I can see the perfect sky is tall. You're a little late. I'm already.
Stewart's American Mortgage. She's got the bagel loan, which is a way for you to refinance or acquire a new mortgage. $0 in closing costs. Smart move to call or to text Stewie right now, 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. That number goes straight to Stewie, his cell phone, and you will be on your way to a new mortgage, new on a new home, or a refi on your current mortgage with no dollars in closing costs, which means as rates have come down, and they have come down, you're going to want to be locked in with Stewie to get locked into your new rate when the time is absolutely right. But it starts with a phone call right now to Stewart's American Mortgage so that you can be positioned in a way to act and act fast with the information at your behest. 314-324-4440. Call him or text him at 314-324-4440 and ask him about a bagel loan. That bagel loan, that is going to mean $0 to close that loan. You don't pay the closing costs. Not now. Not financed into the loan. You don't pay them. Google the bagel loan for more information. NMLS number 226715.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial # law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Smart talk, strong values. This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Have you experienced an outrageous power bill in the last 6 months? I am a whole big heck yes on this poll, and I'm curious about your stories as well. So get on the Annie Fry YouTube channel and leave a vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Also a comment like Steve's comment. June was 224. July was 402. Whew. They're skyrocketing. We've got Jimmy Failla coming up in 10 minutes from right now. But first, let's get to Ethan.
Hold up. Check it out.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Ethan's Kung Fu News.
That's got to be one of yours.
Yeah, that was one of mine.
Crouching Tiger what?
Hidden
Ethan's Kung Fu News.
Doesn't even make sense.
There's a natural flow to this segment, which is I tee it up, Ryan plays the sounder, we all go, what? And then we all go, what did that say? And then we repeat it.
Yep.
Ryan repeats it, and then Ethan repeats it.
Ethan processes what is being said and then tries to do his segment. Keyword tries.
Take it away.
The Cardinals are winning baseball games again.
Yeah, that's Kung Fu news.
No one expected that.
Hiya! Is hiya like a racist
Here, I'll just
way
play
to
this.
sing? No, no, don't. No, what?
I was going to play the whip from earlier, even though it didn't make any sense.
I was
here.
thinking about you this weekend, Ethan. I'm like, Ethan's having a good weekend.
I did have a good weekend. The Cardinals, taking 2 out of 3 against the Chicago Cubs, have now won 4 out of 6, having defeated the Dodgers in 2 out of 3, and now the Cubbies. And
But
now,
are the Dodgers and Cubs even really that good, though?
Yes. Yes, the Dodgers and Cubs are both pretty good teams. So now the Rockies are coming to town, and
we're going to get swept.
They are not good. They are not good.
Are they still on pace to have the worst record in baseball history?
30 wins up to this point.
30 wins.
30
What's
wins.
the lowest ever until this year? Like, what do they have to beat?
The
Do you know?
Chicago White Sox in 2024,
Themselves.
It was
just
just
last
recent.
year,
Themselves.
That's right.
They have to beat themselves.
That's
had
right.
the worst season in baseball history.
Predict the series
This series right now?
against the Rockies.
2 out of 3. The Cardinals take 2 out of 3 is realistic. But, I mean, it wouldn't be crazy if the Cardinals continue to play good baseball if they were to sweep the Rockies, and all of a sudden then you're looking at 7 out of 9. Here's why I bring this up. Because a lot of people are there, Cardinals, I'm over the Cardinals right now. Yeah.
These are the same communists that we have. Our commies are
We should
also like,
spread the wealth out. That means the production should not belong to
yeah, everybody
but
should
the
have the
people.
same amount of wins.
I'm tired of the Cardinals.
Just
Why do we have competition at all?
Oh, I don't even know.
You guys make this really hard sometimes. The White Sox won 41
this
games
is the
last year, by the
Thunderdome,
way.
Ethan.
41 games last year.
41
The
games.
White Sox won
41 games. How many did they lose?
41 games is better than nothing.
Could be better.
The Cardinals are currently 3.5 games out of the wild card spot. The New York Mets, who they are chasing, have lost 7 in a row, and I believe 12 out of 13. They are scuffling. Ryan Helsley is responsible for a couple of those losses. LOL.
Yeah, maybe he still wants to sign with the Cardinals. Maybe he's just doing a job.
He's doing his part.
Oh, man. Do a job, kid. Stop saying that in the third base coaching box.
Whoa!
Youth coaches.
Whoa. That's one of the best.
3 claps. Do a job, kid.
Do a job
Do a
is
job.
one of the best things that you can say as a baseball fan.
I've never heard
or
this
coach.
before. Why is that a phrase now? Do a job?
That's been a phrase
It's
for a long
so
time.
vague.
It is true. That's very vague. That's why I was asking about it.
Hey, if everyone does their job, guess what happens? You win baseball games. Annie.
Exactly. You know what drives me crazy, too, from when I was a kid, is that sometimes you'd be up there to bat against a pitcher. Other times, you'd be up against a belly itcher. And so you'd have to call it out
Pitcher's got a big
every
butt.
time.
I'm so over you right now. There was another cool headline from this weekend at the ballpark. A couple of games that were on national television. And you may or may not have seen
the
kid umpire.
Yay!
Did you guys see the kid umpire?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, what this was, and if you're saying, oh, he kind of looked familiar, well, that's because during spring training, this was a thing again. His name is Bradley Vincent. He's 13 years old, and he lives in the Palm
His
Beach
name is
Gardens, Florida.
Bradley Range.
He lives in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, and he went down.
Do you not like this kid?
No, I just would never do anything like that.
Bradley hates the kid.
Bradley doesn't like him.
Brad.
Our Brad doesn't like Bradley.
Listen,
so
there can
harsh,
only be
Brad.
one.
Yeah,
right?
Brad is eliminating other Brads.
There's too many Brads on the show today already.
Yep.
There's been a
and
lot.
we're just adding another one.
Yeah, Brad Halbrook.
Yeah, he
Oh my
needs to
gosh.
move. Brad, you need to move from O'Fallon out to Highland so you can be a Highlander because there can be only one.
Can only be one.
That probably makes sense. That kid was so cute.
So Bradley wants to be a major league umpire, and his dad said that, hey, we're gonna go, and you're going to ump all these games, and you're gonna have some fun with it. And he was a little bit nervous at first going into the spring training game, and then he just said, I'm gonna have fun with it. So now obviously he's gone super viral. You can see the video up on the stream. I mean, he has the identical MLB umpire uniform to the
kid's
mask,
wearing a chest
the
protector.
uniform,
Or
everything.
something.
And he looks, I mean, the mimics, the movements, everything is just like
This
an umpire would be.
reminded
at the major league
me so much of my grade school basketball career. We had a very good team going in 8th grade. Played in third place in state, third place game. we had a great team, and one of my teammates had a little nephew who was, maybe 5 or so, and he wore a referee uniform to all of our games and would stand on the sideline and do little referee things and mimic the referees the whole time. And
That's
I
so
saw this
cute.
and it reminded me of it, and I love that.
He quoted here saying, "My dream is to umpire a World Series and call a perfect game with perfect calls for balls and strikes."
If a woman can do it, he can too.
Mm-hmm. How'd that go?
Her first pitch, she got wrong.
That's what I saw too. That's what I saw.
I don't care. I just thought.
Overall, she did pretty well. The ump scorecard was right around league average.
Do you want her or do you want Angel Hernandez?
Oh, her. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I think what we have here is Ethan calling that umpire a 10.
I think that he did.
She's a dime.
I think that he likes her.
That is not at all what was
in an
said.
inappropriate way for a married man.
Ryan, I think we got to go. We have Jimmy.
We were
Fallon coming
hinting at it, and then I said it.
Yeah.
I'm done.
If there's more, we'll get to it after Jimmy Failla, who's next up on the show. Join us on the Annie Fry YouTube chat. Come say hi to Jimmy Failla. He's going to be with us here. And we got a cool thing happening coming up in the only scoop we've given you so far is January. So stick around for that. Jimmy Failla on the Annie Fry Show next.
I was at the top and I was like I'm in the basement. Number one spot, now she found a replacement. I swear now I can't take it. Knowing somebody's got my baby.
HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. If you have a unlevel concrete situation at your home, please consider reaching out to Home Shield Foundation Repairs. It is a great opportunity to have a cost-effective way to fix that uneven concrete at your home, that uneven concrete that is a safety hazard, that uneven concrete that is ugly, that you need to make sure is even, is flat, is not tripping people up. Like Mom, when she comes to visit the house, you do not want her tripping on that and causing a problem, especially if you have a place of business that has this concrete problem. Get to Home Shield Foundation Repair right now and have them come out and check out what the situation is. It's not going to cost you anything to have that assessment done. 314-227-9636. 314-227-9636. Matt Hayes, the owner, this family-owned and operated business, established right here in St. Louis. He's been doing this work for a long time. He is going to make sure that you have a cost-effective solution to handle this situation right away. The number is 314-227-9636. That's 314-227-9636. It's Home Shield Foundation Repair, online at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
Every week on the Moth Podcast, we share stories that are funny, strange, heartbreaking, and above all, true.
I myself have been married for 56 years. Unfortunately, to 4 different women.
It turns out the people I was looking for all my life is what you people would call nerds.
Follow and listen to The Moth on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
If you've been thinking about a new project for your backyard, now's the time to call my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. If you mention my name, they will give you 20% off the bottom line of your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. It's what they do. They've been at it for many, many years, since 1968, and they take a lot of pride in what they do at Chesterfield Fence. Now, of course, they do fences and they do decks. That's in the name. But they can also help you with a custom pergola in your backyard, maybe an indoor-outdoor room that's all season, or just a screened-in porch. They can do cement work and build a nice fire pit in your backyard. Whatever you can imagine, they will help you design it and put it into your backyard, and they stand behind all of their products with great guarantees. Better Business Bureau accredited with an A-plus rating. Call them right now and tell them you want your 20% off. Mention my name. Go to ChesterfieldFence.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
We do a YouTube live chat poll every day. Today's question for you is, have you experienced an outrageous power bill in the last 6 months? Yes or no? If you answer yes, let us know kind of what it's jumped. If you answer no, would you consider budget billing with me? It is the YouTube live chat poll.
Part of it.
Let us know by typing in Annie Fry on YouTube. Today's date will come up. That's where you can vote. 2:32. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Fox News National, St. Louis Local, 97.1 FM Talk.
It's the loud voices that
Yeah,
scare people from saying what they believe and make you think twice about a joke or whatever, these things. And, a lot of their points are valid, but a lot of them are also just repulsive. And I mean, they repel people from, they go like, oh, you're no fun. I don't want to be around you. And I think that if you had to boil it down to like one thing, that's kind of what it is. It's like, oh, you're no fun. I don't want to be part of your group.
Okay. Jimmy Kimmel talking about repulsive voices in the Democrat Party and people are not participating in doing their things or being repelled from them. Jimmy Failla, can you explain this to me? There's a lot of Jimmys in the world right now. Jimmy Failla with us on the Annie Fry Show. We are so excited to have you here. Jimmy Kimmel, it's like you almost got it. It's like that commercial. Like you almost had it there. Repulsive liberal voices. What do you think?
I know, Annie, it is so wild that Jimmy Kimmel lecturing us on repulsive liberal voices, it would be like J.B. Pritzker lecturing us on the obesity problem in this country.
Oh, you know your audience.
Like, you do understand.
Yeah.
You do understand the limitations of this critique, sir, but I don't think he does. I think the biggest problem, facing people on the left, is a lack of self-awareness. And I say that as a guy, I dress like a figure skater who let himself go, but I know that. I don't get on TV and pretend it's going well. This is a cry for help. You know that, Annie.
Yeah, it's wild to watch people who have no self-awareness whatsoever.
None.
It's fun to be around people who completely understand this is what I bring to the table. It is what it is. Then you can have an honest conversation. The Colbert's, he doesn't seem to get it at all. He's been canceled and he still doesn't seem to get it.
Well, he wants to get fired before the firing because he wants that martyr street cred thing, which, by the way, if you're listening, in St. Louis and you guys want to visit New York and go to Colbert, I get tickets to Colbert. They're $10 to get in and $500 to get out.
This is a hostage situation.
Yeah, you do not want to be there. But that is their problem, is they keep playing to the shrinking audience. What everyone was supposed to learn from the Sydney Sweeney controversy is that no one is dignifying this garbage anymore. We're not living in a pretend America where anybody thinks there's a correlation to Hitler because of Sydney Sweeney and her boobs. The CEO of the CEO of American Eagle is Jewish. He was not sitting around in the boardroom going, I've got it. Nazi coding through cleavage. Come on.
Is this one of the most brilliant marketing campaigns? Because how much, you think about creating an ad campaign, Jimmy Failla is speaking with us right now. You've been a part of a lot of marketing. You essentially want people to talk about it. And whatever they're talking, you just want them to be talking. And they couldn't have paid for the amount of coverage that they are getting when it comes to this Gene ad through Sydney Sweeney.
It is amazing. And it's always the case that when people on the left get mad at something, they amplify it to the point that everyone now sees it. This ad would have came and gone in 48 hours in the news cycle. I might have stuck around for 72 in my hard drive. But the point is, most people would have been done with it in 48, and we would have just moved on. But the idea that they not only blew the week on it, but then last week they went, did you see them go in on the German Shepherd last week?
Mm-mm.
Where they were like, oh, last week I had to cover this on Fox and Friends a couple days in a row. They said because she has a German Shepherd, that's another sign that this is Nazi outreach. Except there's one small problem. Joe Biden had 2 German Shepherds in the White House.
Biting people.
So it's, yeah, so exact. Well, listen, I said this on my TV show. You got to defend the dog on this one. If you're walking around with a dog nose in a White House with that much cocaine, you'd be hopped up, Annie. You'd be a hopped up gal.
Oh, man, I have no experience, but I'll take your word from it. Jimmy Failla with us right now. Watching Fox News's Greg Gutfeld go on to Jimmy Fallon. We were discussing this a little bit earlier on our show, Jimmy, and they're not on at the same time. So it is possible that you can watch Greg Gutfeld and then pick and choose the next person you're going to turn on if you're interested in entertainment and a little bit of lightheartedness. What was Jimmy Fallon's play here? Why have somebody who you could consider to be direct competition, why have somebody like that come on your show and platform them that way?
Well, I do think this is a win for Jimmy Fallon, and I'll tell you why. He did not want to be doing what he was forced to do with his show, meaning go activist and take kind of a Colbert approach to late night. If you remember, he got in trouble during the 2016 election for mussing Trump's hair, and they claimed he had normalized Donald Trump. The only problem with that argument is Donald Trump was the highest rated primetime host on NBC for 16 consecutive years, which means NBC normalized Donald Trump 16 years before he sat down with Fallon.
That's a great point.
If you remember, when Saturday Night Live reacted to Trump winning the election by having Kate McKinnon sing Hallelujah and cry, they were doing so in a season in which Donald Trump had hosted the show. He hosted SNL in June of that year. So how did we go from please say hello to this week's host, Donald Trump, to we're now living under Nazi rule because the guy who hosted in June is now the president? And it was such performative stupidity. But Fallon had to play along because that's where the late night market temporarily swung because of Colbert. And what Fallon bringing Greg on represented to me was a win for himself behind the scenes, because he was saying to the rest of America, hey, I don't want to be a part of this one note angry thing. So I think that was the play. It was a win for him in programming. In terms of Greg, I just think Greg's audience was confused because they've never seen Greg sit next to someone who uses more hair product than Jesse Waters. They were like, what is this? What's even happening?
What did you think of Jimmy or of Greg Gutfeld jumping into what looked like an unexpected Jimmy Fallon embrace?
Well, it's a perk of being 5'1", is if you do that, it's still going to be okay. You know what I mean? You can't do that if you're 6'2", so you know what I mean? Yeah. But listen, it was cute. I thought it was endearing. I mean, as a comic, you don't want comedy to be standoffish. You want it to be fun. You want it to be inviting. Because again, comedy doesn't have a political party. Comedy is a party. And if you were throwing an actual party, you wouldn't be asking people who they voted for on the way into your yard. You'd just be like, if you're cool, come in. If you suck, get out.
Yes.
So I rooted for this. I thought it was a good deal.
That's amazing. Jimmy Failla with us right now. And I want to use this as an opportunity where I'm so glad to be working with 97.1 FM Talk here, to be working with you. Jimmy Failla is coming to the Factory in Chesterfield, the same event that we had Brian Kilmeade at earlier this year. Jimmy, he dressed me up as a nun. I didn't know.
Put you in the show?
Yes. And he handed me the nun costume after I got to the event. Didn't know leading up to it that it was going to involve that. But it was a great time had by all. And your event is going to be Saturday, January 24th at the Factory. I think this is the best venue in the entire area to do a show. And Jimmy Failla is coming to it January 24th. And my understanding is tickets are available now.
Let's go. They're at foxacrossamerica.com, or you can get them at the Chesterfield. Listen, Kilmeade told me it was the best venue he played last year, but he just said he had this one nun that really sucked.
I'm not a good nun for a lot of reasons.
That's probably Mark Cox from the Mark Cox Morning Show.
Knock it off, right?
Oh, no, you lay off Cox. That's amazing. I love that.
What do you do? Like, what does this show entail? You're talking about comedy as a party. We know you bring that to the table every time you're at a microphone, but people coming Saturday, January 24th to the Factory, 8 p.m. show, what are they going to get?
they're going to get me in my natural habitat. You see, what's happening here at Fox is, I started out as a cab driver and a comedian. I'm kind of a feral cat. And Fox domesticated me, and they taught me how to live in the house without peeing on the furniture. Stand-up is my chance to sneak out into the yard and kill a few birds. So you're going to see a very raw version of what I do on TV and radio. It's essentially an hour of things that would get me fired if I said them on TV. There's a Q&A. There's a meet and greet. I ask politely that you grope my right butt cheek because I got squeezed so many times in Pennsylvania this weekend that if you look at me, I'm sitting to the side right now. That's why I'm holding the camera so close to my face, like I don't know any better. I'm leaning on my elbow for butt support right now because somebody with this big, giant Dikembe Mutombo hands grabbed my butt cheek at the end of the meet and greet. For real, Annie? And I hear a voice go, "I just need to know what a TV ass feels like." For real. And I said, I'm sorry if it wasn't the one you've been fantasizing about. And he goes, "Oh, it was. It was."
That's a tall order for St. Louis at the factory.
Well, he asked politely.
Yes, he did. It was very kind. That Midwest nice. You'll be just fine here. Jimmy Failla, we're so excited for this event. It's coming in January, Saturday, January 24th, an 8 p.m. show. Jimmy Failla at the factory. That's my husband's birthday, so I'm gonna tell him let's go to a show and maybe we'll make a weekend of it. We're so excited to have you here.
Hot damn! I love it. I can't wait to hang. This is a big deal, Annie.
It is.
You don't need your nun costume either. Let's go.
Yeah, thank you.
You work on an outfit for the birthday boy.
There you go. It's not going to be a habit. That's not what it's going to turn into. Jimmy Failla, we're grateful to have you. Come back again on the show. We'd love to have you back.
For sure.
And look forward to seeing you in January.
Oh, you're the best, Annie. Thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye. I'm excited about this show. These are the types of shows that, if you've got that Fox News connection, you kind of understand, you have an entry-level understanding of the company you're going to keep. But after that, all bets are off. So I'm really looking forward to see what he brings, and the amount of 97.1 listeners that I anticipate will be at this Jimmy Failla show at the factory in January. I think it's going to be quite a fun party for people just like you listening right now, and I hope to be there. I'm looking forward to it.
He is so fast. He's so fast and quick-witted. I really enjoyed his show. I didn't know that much about him until we started carrying his show every evening.
He does a great show too.
I when I'm in the car, I
6 p.m.?
find myself staying in the car longer because he just kind of draws you into segments. He uses so many drops. He's a super funny guy. By the way, I need to point out that you said you wouldn't be in the habit, and it meant two things. It was great and good job. I mean, Jimmy Failla brought probably more jokes than you did, but that one was really good.
You said you hated me in the earlier hour, and now you're
But I
complimenting
said
me?
also that was supposed to be funny.
This feels like a manipulative relationship.
No, not at all. No. I'm just genuinely in awe, really, of the double meaning of habit when you said that. I'm like, Jimmy Failla probably now thinks that you're comedic gold.
Why do you
because
say it
he
like
already
that?
is comedic.
What do you mean? What?
He probably
Jimmy
was very impressed by
Failla
that.
now thinks that you are probably...
Yeah. He came into that thinking, well, she's a great host. Ryan thinks that she's good too. He probably thought that. But then you said that, and he was like, whoa, and he probably wrote it down. You'll probably hear it on his show today. Not that he's going to steal material, but...
I'm sure on his show he'll be talking about that St. Louis radio host who wore a nun in Brian Kilmeade's show.
I don't know how he'll work it in, but he's that good.
Anything else you want to add?
Thank you.
I think I've done enough here.
No, you did a great job.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good interview.
Let's go to break. I don't know what else to do. Can we get back to the other normal stuff when we come back? All right. Sounds good. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Something's in the air. Whoa. Something big, I feel it happening out of my control. Pushing, pulling, and it's grabbing me.
RulerFoods.com. Spend less in your grocery bill because you're spending all that money on your electric bill. I don't know. That's what's happening in our house. We're going to be trying to figure out how to manage finances while those electric bills are going through the roof. Maybe Ruler Foods is going to get your grocery shopping opportunity for the first time now. I encourage you to give Ruler Foods the opportunity to show you why so many people have switched over to saving money on those common grocery staples, the name brands that you love, the Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices. When you want to stock your freezer full of ground beef, you go to Kroger, 80% lean ground beef at Ruler Foods. $4.99 a pound. How about fresh produce like red or white seedless grapes, $1.88 a pound, or juicy blueberries, delicious, fresh, $2.99 per 18-ounce pack. Also, ladies and gentlemen, Kroger Grade A large eggs, $1.99 a dozen. Get to Ruler Foods right now. You can find the one closest to you by going to their website, typing in your zip code, and make an appointment of it. RulerFoods.com.
Bold, unapologetic, unfiltered. The Mark Cox Morning Show is covering the issues that matter to you. From borders to school boards, Mark Cox is St. Louis conservative.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
With the heat we have here in St. Louis, just a note, most air conditioners aren't set or able to handle 100 degrees without running constantly. So before you freak out and think your air conditioner is bad, here's a few tips. If you don't have ceiling fans in your bedrooms, you can get pedestal fans and put them in your room. Keep those running all the time. On a second-story house, put one pedestal fan on top of your steps and blow it into the foyer area up high so it's cooling the heat as it's coming up and circulating the air. If you have an attic fan, simple, quick fix, plastic bag, cut it up, and duct tape, because what's happening is it's sucking in all your attic air and the heat and humidity from the outside. Try those things before you call anybody or you call me. But if you did that, please call me, Bart Inman, 314-293-2600. Remember, 0% financing is available for most up to 60 months. God bless.
Annie Fry is back because truth doesn't take a break. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis conservative.
Picture a place where it all doesn't hurt, where everything's safe and it doesn't get worse on my.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We're talking with Steve Moore at the top of the 1 o'clock hour. When he was at the White House talking about how income and wages are up, I put this on X, I retweeted it, and I was like, I'm not really 100% sure I'm feeling this in my own personal finances. Do you feel the Trump effect in your own personal finances yet?
No, not yet. No,
I can maybe
there's
say
work
I
to do.
see it in like my investments. My 401k looks great. But it's we have to always remember that, like, when you're cheering for the red team or you're cheering for the blue team, that the political win should only be the beginning of your expectations. The material of the policy that follows afterwards needs to be where you really determine whether or not it's a winning strategy or not. I think that the ground that has been covered in 200 days of this administration is so significant, but boy, were we starting so far back behind the starting line to try to catch up to where, like, okay, if you're going to make America great again, what does that even mean? We have dug such a deep hole that it will require a lot of work to get out of the hole, and that's where you're just like at your level even.
Yeah, exactly. You can say all day, and it's good that inflation has leveled off, but that's not something you go and notice. You notice when it goes up. You don't notice that it's staying the same. You're not like, oh, look, I'm noticing that when I buy cereal, it's the same as it was 3 months ago, especially hasn't been that long yet. What needs to happen for people to really notice it is you see jobs continue to go up. You see wages continue to rise to meet what inflation has been. There's always a lag there. I think you're going to see that in Trump's term, wages starting to finally catch up to what inflation has been. That's when you'll notice it. And there's been a lot of investment promised in America. That stuff will pay off. And it's not just from countries. You always hear the big country, oh, the EU is going to put $800 billion in the U.S. That's going to take time. But companies are also moving their operations here. You know, Apple just keeps floating more and more money. And there's a lot of those. Not all of them are $100 billion. Some of them are $10 billion, you know, but they'll add up, but it just takes time.
Before we get to the YouTube live chat poll results today, we're asking you, have you experienced an outrageous power bill in the last 6 months? Let us know there what you think. I just came across this on X, and I wanted to make sure I found like not just an influencer tweeting about this or posting about this. ABC News reports from earlier today that the Supreme Court formally asked to overturn landmark same-sex marriage ruling. Have you seen this?
No,
I didn't.
This is news to me.
Yeah, I haven't seen this yet either. Devin Dwyer, give credit where credit is due, on this article posted on ABC News. 10 years after the Supreme Court extended marriage rights to same-sex couples nationwide, the justices this fall will consider for the first time whether to take up a case that explicitly asks them to overturn that decision. Kim Davis, the former Kentucky County Clerk who was jailed for 6 days in 2015 after refusing to issue marriage licenses to a gay couple on religious grounds, is appealing a $100,000 jury verdict for emotional damages plus $260,000 for attorney's fees in a petition for writ of certiorari, I don't know how to say that, filed last month. Davis argues First Amendment protection for free exercises of religion immunizes her from personal liability for the denial of marriage licenses. More fundamentally, she claims the High Court's decision in Obergefell v. Hodges extending marriage rights to same-sex couples under the 14th Amendment's due process protections was, quote, egregiously wrong. Davis's attorney wrote in the petition, quote, the mistake must be corrected. He calls Justice Anthony Kennedy's majority opinion in Obergefell legal fiction. Well, that will be interesting to follow.
Even if the Supreme Court takes this case, that headline is salacious because the chances of them deciding in the Kim Davis case to overturn the
her
legal
religious
right
freedoms
to gay marriage, they could rule in her favor and still not overturn gay marriage.
Correct.
Which I would say is probably likely if they take the case at all. So that headline is misleading.
ABC News reports the petition appears to mark the first time since 2015 that the court has been formally asked to overturn the landmark marriage decision. Davis is seen as one of the only Americans currently with legal standing to bring a challenge to the precedent. Quote, if there was ever a case of exceptional importance, the first individual in the Republic's history who was jailed for following her religious convictions regarding the historic definition of marriage, this should be it. We'll follow it.
Certainly.
That's a lot. YouTube live chat poll for today. Have you experienced an outrageous power bill in the last 6 months? Yes or no? Brad, you?
No, but we noticed that they were going up, and my wife was on top of this, and she got us into an agreement that locked us in on our prices. Otherwise, ours would have gone
Are you
up.
talking about budget billing or working with a different provider?
I think it's through the city of O'Fallon, so it might be budget billing. But
Billing is usually through Ameren, right?
So then
I don't know.
No, it's like a co-op, an electrical co-op.
A lot of
through the
cities
city.
do that.
Yeah. And so we did that, and at the beginning of the year it was higher than everybody else's, but now we don't regret
Ethan,
it.
have you had higher power bills?
I have not, thankfully.
Ryan?
Oh, yeah.
Me too, big time.
247 votes on today's YouTube live chat poll. Have you experienced an outrageous power bill in the last 6 months? 62% of voters say yes, 38% say no.
Well, for the 38% who haven't experienced yet, I hope it stays that way, for sure. But something's definitely going to have to give for a lot of these people. And again, thinking about those on fixed incomes, I don't really know how you sustain this for very long. And I don't really love... Did you say, Ryan, it was Ameren who was like, it'll go down in October?
No, there were spokespeople saying that for consumer advocacy or something.
I'm going to have to wait and see on that. All right, the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative, is coming next. Don't go away.
Gonna lose control tonight. What do
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
The Retirement Advisory Group online at retirementkey.com. Please, please, please consider talking to the Kershaws, Thomas Helbig, about your retirement. If you are towards the end of your working career, you know that retirement is right around the corner, or at least you hope so. You've worked hard. Now you need to know, how is my money going to work for me? And what are the really smart things that I need to do that I might forget if I don't do my research to transition from working into retirement? Bob and Tammy Kershaw, they know how to transition you in that period of time. If you're worried about losing your nest egg, you're watching the market, it's been going up, but we've definitely watched it while it's gone down, and you're a little like, what do I do? How do I adjust? You can have the Retirement Advisory Group build you a personalized structured income plan so that you do have the peace of mind of knowing what is to come next. 314-993-9494. Call 314-993-9494 or visit them online at retirementkey.com.
Hey, it's Mark Cox, and between now and the end of summer, chances are you or someone you know is in the market to buy or sell a home. And like me, you probably know a few